Oh, muted. Hello. How is the music? I will be right back. Feel like oh, I need a haircut so bad. Music is good. Hi, Blair Blahage Enjoyer. I tried to do like a smoky raccoon eye look, and I don't know how it worked out. I am not crazy about it right now. It looks nice, thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. Hey, dog. Hello, lady wants to be on stream. Holy crap, 216 viewers already. Okay, I need to go give lady food apparently, because she's gonna start borking, aren't ya? Because I just took it. The reason I was late is because I took her for a walk. I'll be right back. Alrighty. Ooh, actually, I'll be right back. Alrighty. Okay, thank you everybody. Let me make sure all my messages are doing okay. How are we doing tonight? Alright. Have my... Good, how about you? I'm doing okay. Going to... It's my one window capture. Remove that. God, I have so many fucking background tasks running, and I don't know why. I think it's all from like... There's gotta be a way to like... I'm fucking gone. Why? Whatever. I'll work on that later. Lady, could you possibly drink any louder? Holy shit, dog. Okay. And it is not going well. Dirt Jar, I am sorry. Oh. Thunder the Coyote, I'm doing okay, just resting since I came back from Florida. What the hell were you doing in that nightmare part of the world? Vacationing in Orlando? A likely story. God, my dog is on one today. Sorry, just waiting for a couple more people to come in before we start talking about Muskrat, who is... I'm going to layer this today a little bit. Because Elon Musk, for many people who know and have heard about him, is one of the weirdest people, like to have amassed so much money and power and influence on basically nothing but luck and ego. He's maybe the ultimate example of a white dude just continually failing upward and taking credit for other people's innovations and inventions along the way. And I do want to wait for a couple more people to trickle in. All right, sorry. Let's go. Have I been watching the Olympics? No. I've literally never cared about the Olympics. I don't know if I ever will. Like, it does less than nothing for me as somebody who feels like no real sense of national pride. It's the Olympics, you know, like it happens every couple of years. All right. Maxie the Cat, that's actually a really great talking discussion to start off while we're waiting for people to trickle in, because what do I have to play with on my desk? I'm trying to find something to stim with. Dog, you are driving me nuts. You are being such a butthead already today. Not a fan. Not a fan, Pooch. What? She's running. She's got like the zoomies. She's like running around, jumping on stuff. Don't you growl at me, you little butthead. Okay, that's enough. Kitchen. Kitchen. Nope. Kitchen. Yes. Booger dog. Monstrous little animal. Cult of Northune, thank you very much for first time chat. Irish DC 95 heard Grindr had disabled their location services at Olympic Village to protect LGBT athletes that are from countries where being gay is illegal or dangerous. I guess that makes sense. Will we cover Harris's speech from today? I did not know Harris had a speech today. What was... yeah, I guess so. Yeah, sure. I'll keep that pulled up. Cult of Nothune. Hiya, I watch your YouTube, but don't often catch streams. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Let me... Okay. Kenny Pens, like the makeup. Thank you. I'm not a big fan of how it turned out, I don't think. Yeah, I can take it or leave it, I think. Harris said Trump backed out of the debate but still has plenty to say about her, to which she replied, if you have something to say it to my face. Ooh, I might have to look into that, actually. Have you seen The People's Joker? I have not. I do want to. Unfortunately, it was not playing near me, which is a bummer. But I do, like, I want to see it. I don't have any reason not to. I believe Mia was in that movie. I think. I'm pretty sure Mia has a bit part. Mia Moore, who was on the charity stream. Sorry, I just dropped 20-sided dice on the table. No, so somebody asked, while we're still waiting for a couple more people to trickle in, somebody asked what I thought of Deadpool and Wolverine. And... I'm like, I should be on paper, I should be the prime, like, perfect demographic for that movie. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, it's like for 40 somethings who like knew all the trivia and stuff. It's like, no, like, I grew up as a Marvel kid. I went through a massive Deadpool phase in middle school. I watched all of the Fox superhero movies growing up in the early 2000s. I watched all of the Fox X-Men movies over and over when I was like a child, a youth. And I found it to be, because like, and I won't spoil Irish DC, I won't spoil anything that hasn't been like in a trailer or anything, you know. And even then, like, there's some stuff in the trailer I won't spoil, but it is so, because you honestly, you can talk about it without the spoilers, because it tries to do so many, it tries to be so many movies at once, and none of them are particularly good or engaging. You're wrong, we're the immortal. Hello, cat. Now my cat is wanting attention. Let's go a little bit. Cat cam. Cat cam. Oh, hell yeah, cat cam. Baby, tiny cat. Look at this baby. Fan servicey is an understatement, honestly. Like when people were talking about, like, like people talk about fan servicey stuff in the way of like Multiverse of Madness, which is a movie I liked. I would say Multiverse of Madness is probably my favorite of the bunch, because I think it's the most fun like post Endgame movie. And No Way Home, which I also liked, but I think I've seen a lot more flaws in it as it has aged. The problem is, all right, so here's what I was thinking, right? Is when you have sorry, I just totally got lost in somebody's comment. You had movies in the early 2000s that were these big sweeping blockbusters. You had things like The Matrix, things like Spider-Man, the Raimi Spider-Mans, I would say Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings, King Kong, pretty much anything Peter Jackson touched, where there were these, hello cat, cat still wants to be on camera. She's not finished. Do you have things to say? What do you want? What do you want? Like you had these movies that were made, like all movies are made to make money, but they were made with a artistic vision in mind. You know, like they had a artistically unique creator, and this isn't like shilling for auteur theory or anything. I'm just saying like they had a style to them, instilled in them from conception to finality. Like the directors were part of the writing process. They were involved in the special effects. They were part of all these other things, right? And while this movie was partially written by Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy, it has the problem that so many other Marvel movies have where, like, for example, if a movie back in the day, if the special effects from Weta Digital or ILM or whatever, like if the special effects weren't done in a certain season for episode 2 or episode 3, I have no doubt that they would push that movie. They would say, okay, you know what? We need extra budget for this. We need to do reshoots on this. Whereas you're already purring away, little cat. Whereas with the modern Marvel slate, I think it is much more like this movie is coming out at this point, come hell or high water, which I think is why you get movies that look as just rancidly dog shit as Quantumania, which might be like one of the worst, like Quantumania and The Flash, too. The Flash I think is more like there's more behind the scenes baggage there. And the real problem there is that it doesn't allow for like this need to make everything in a Marvel movie fit into the universe. And now this multiverse shit where you have to, hello cat, I love you, but not right now. Go, get off. Where like the multiverse has its own problems with setup because now you have to find a way to shoehorn in these iconic characters. But even if people didn't watch movies, it's not just movies from like a couple years ago. Now it could be movies from 20 years ago. It could be the Raimi films, right? It could be, you know, these obscure references that were in like Multiverse of Madness. And so it just creates this like, instead of and this is the real problem of Deadpool 2, is that it feels like nothing fucking matters. Because they go out of their way, they explain how like Logan, how there is Wolverine again after the events of Logan. And again, all of this stuff is in trailers. Like I am not going to be doing any like spoilers here. They explain how all of the main characters in Deadpool 2, several of which died in that movie, are back. So like the two major plot points, which by the way, they have to redact these character moments, these defining moments for these characters, both Deadpool and Wolverine, to simply set them up for a shared character journey where they go over many of the same character beats from both of their previous films, and not in a like introspective, like a way that's like a cyclical meta-analysis or commentary on the state of media and regurgitations, like in a more talented, like, and that's the real thing here, is that with as fourth wall breaking and as goofy and the extra amount of cartoonish leeway it has, it would have been the perfect opportunity to actually do something really special with like a meta-analysis of where superhero movies are, where they've been, where they're going, what those stories mean to people. That's not this movie. That is I for like a fraction of a second, reading some reviews, I thought it might be. That's not this movie. This movie is slop. Like it is enjoyable when you're watching it, but it is so, I think part of it is that it's so exhaustingly crafted that like it just feels like 2 hours of eating nothing but McDonald's. You know, like I laughed at a lot of the jokes. I didn't laugh at so many of them. Like, I mean, hey, you want to hit more than you miss? I think it broke about even, if I'm honest. I will say one thing I did really love. That movie is gory and violent as fuck. Like that's the one thing sitting there. I was like, man, if this movie came out when I was in middle school or high school, when I was obsessed with Deadpool and Wolverine, scribbling comic characters on the margins and blank pages of my notebooks in school, and walking to comic book shops to get 25-cent issues after school, like that, it would have made my like millennium, right? But it is so distracted from being the movie that a fan would want it to be by a need to be the movie Disney thinks fans want it to be. Like, it is the way that it panders to fan service is maybe the most debauched, insidious, just disgusting regurgitation of IP. Just Disney whipping out its big intellectual property dick and smacking the balls on the table just for you to just stare and look at it. Maybe the worst case of that since fucking Wreck-It Ralph 2, which was a movie I left the theater. I liked the original Wreck-It Ralph. I left the theater after Wreck-It Ralph fucking hating. Like, I loathed what they had done to that film. Holy shit. Who? Jackie Sins, thank you so much for 50 of those. Goodness gracious, thank you. I mean, like, here's the real tragedy of the film is that it wants to be that like metatextual analysis. Like, again, at the beginning I said that it's actually 5 movies, right? It wants to be a metatextual analysis of like superhero media, does a very poor job. It wants to be nonstop fan service, does a very cloying job. It wants to be a moment of reflection, like a character journey for Deadpool, like a 2-character journey movie. A movie where both characters go on essentially a road trip together and learn about themselves and learn to come together and put aside their all that shit, the planes, trains, and automobiles of it, totally fine, whatever. The rest of it, like, cut and jigsawed into the sides. Like, if it wasn't a movie made to be a Marvel movie, like if it just took some of the Marvel stuff like The Void or whatever and wasn't a constant reminder, like the way that it tries to shove itself into the Marvel universe is so clumsy and haphazard and like cobbled together in a way that I feel like Deadpool is the way to do it, because they really fucking skimp on like the technobabble and the specifics and the lore and stuff, and like the opening 20 minutes is just a bunch of hand waving away and setup for that movie. And the hand waving away is like the details of how these universes interact, which is like kind of important, and then the details of why essentially all the character growth from Deadpool 2 is just gone. And so it tries to have a engaging story for both Deadpool and Wolverine. And I gotta say, like, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, it's like, he's Hugh Jackman. Dog, hey. he's Hugh Jackman. He still fucking brought it. Like, I think acting wise, I think he did a fucking phenomenal job. Like, and I think you can tell that he was drawn to the part by the chance to play a slightly different version of Wolverine. Like this kind of bum ass loser Wolverine. And I think Ryan Reynolds' delivery is great. I think the physical comedy is great. I think the violence is good. I think the action scenes are not as like raidy as I would like, but you can tell that there were 2 or 3 different comic writers involved in writing the script and like pacing and planning everything out, because a lot of the action does flow like a comic book. It's just like you have these positive things, and then you have just like the dog shit bland gray CGI all over the place. You know, you have the constant cloying reminders that, hey, this is in the MCU now. This is in the MCU now. Disney bought Fox. Disney bought Fox. Isn't it funny that Disney bought Fox and we're poking fun at how much Disney bought Fox? And then there are the things that are like nothing, no piece of media is like sacrosanct. Like I don't think you should hold any work of art up on a pedestal and say like, oh, you can't criticize this. You can't demean this, because that's anathema to like good artistic expression. Like, you holding things as sacred is creating these like all important rules to follow, and I don't think that makes good art. So like, you know, far be it from me to say that like, oh, the way that they undo the stuff in Deadpool 2 and Logan is like so terrible, or, you know, it takes away the meaning of those things, because I can still go watch Logan and I'll still have the same emotional reaction to Logan. But the way they go about doing it is, again, like when you take into account the corporate machinery behind it, right? And it was like what I was saying a little while ago about the movies in the early 2000s, the big blockbuster franchises that had a concise creative direction behind it. This has a director who is involved, but the creative direction is just Disney's marketing department. Like, that's the difference. Like, the purpose these things serve, the purpose tearing down those things serve, is to make people essentially laugh at the idea that Disney now owns the IP and they can do whatever they want with it. And again, like, yeah, sure, you like no IP is sacrosanct, but it does, when you think about all the fucking shit they own now and everything that applies to, man, it's fucking rough. Like, I just felt so deflated walking out of that theater. All right, let's read some of these. Thank you very much, Rapty Feathers, for 500 bits. Watch Legion if you haven't. The best Marvel TV show ever. It's done by the guy who did the Fargo TV show, and it does things with the format I've never seen before. I've been watching Hannibal, so I'm kind of on a like a psychological TV kick. I was gonna watch Twin Peaks again next, or Evangelion again, and I might watch Legion instead, because I've heard good things about that for years. The Mad Hatter, thank you for 10 euros. Watch this street skating contest because I skate, and people were just stoked for everyone, and some people really popped in with some NBDs. Country kind of didn't matter why I love skating. I might check that out. FBI has joined the flock. Oh, thank you. Cat Cam, Best Cam, thank you. Who else do we have over in chat really quick before we move on? B. Parker, I agree, and I also like No... See, and like No Way Home, I think... No Way Home was like the tipping point, right? Like No Way Home was the litmus test of like, can they make this work? And then now it's oops, all multiverse, right? Like No Way Home, when No Way Home made $1 billion, that was the canary in the coal mine for like, oh, this is just going to be the next decade plus of Disney. Which I think No Way Home does it better because the way that they tie in all of those characters, and spoilers for No Way Home if you haven't seen it yet, the way they tie in those characters into that Peter's journey, the way they kind of twist a lot of those things to bring what has been in the MCU like And I've said this before, a lot of other people, it's not, you know, a unique observation, but where Peter has been just like kind of baby Iron Man, like he hasn't had to make his own suit. He hasn't, we didn't see him lose his uncle, like these important aspects of his character. And to kind of twist those things so that Aunt May plays the Uncle Ben role, brilliant. To have Tobey Maguire's Green Goblin, because Peter in the Tom Holland Peter is doing what Peter would do and tries to like help him and give him a second chance, like the most fucking Peter Parker thing you can do. That Green Goblin becomes his Green Goblin, you know? Like I think there are so many little things that it does really well. I think, you know, special effects, cinematography, like there are things there in just a craft level that it doesn't touch anything that Amazing Spider-Man was doing, anything that the Raimi films were doing. But it's alright. You know, it's like you could do a lot worse. I think it hits where it needs to. Comparatively, dude, Deadpool and Wolverine, not even fucking close. Not even fucking close. And let me tell you, when I say this should have been my shit, like everything about this movie should have been, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset for it. Cause and somebody was saying, like they're not trying to win Oscars, and I get that. Like I put out a thing, a Twitter, just a tweet saying like, fuck man, just like sitting after watching Deadpool and Wolverine, and I sat there after the movie and I was like, man, like technically it wasn't terrible, but it was just a fucking mess. And every time that like I was just the movie just literally in some cases looks to the camera and talks about Disney buying Fox, like it's like, fuck man. And then I reflected for a second and I was like, okay, what trailers were there? Like, what am I looking forward to? And the trailers I saw, because we came in a smidge late, I believe, but the trailers I saw were for Joker 2, Venom 3, Mufasa the Lion King, and Gladiator 2, and Beetlejuice 2. And it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here, man? And people were like, well, that's because you're going to see the big blockbuster movie, so it's going to have the trailers for big blockbuster movies. And I'm like, yeah, but like, again, look at 20 years ago where you had things like movies like The Matrix, movies like the Star Wars prequels, where at least they were, if not doing a new franchise, were exploring something that hadn't been explored either in the story or, probably most importantly for the early 2000s, the technical aspects, the special effects. Like when people go back to Pirates of the Caribbean, and you know, there are the gifs that go around every now and again of Davy Jones, and people are like, fuck, this, like the CG holds up on this. Yeah, that's because all of the CG artists working in Hollywood at the time, whether they were at ILM or Weta Digital or wherever the fuck they were pushing boundaries and trying new things, and the studios were letting them. Like, there used to be a time, and I think Marvel contributed heavily to the downfall of this. We don't have, I think the last movie that was really like, yo, you got to see this for the special effects was probably Avatar 2. But there was a time, not that long ago, in the grand scheme of things, there was a time where you went to a movie because it was a good movie, but also, fuck, like, you got to see the special effects. Marvel movies don't have that. And in fact, I would say they've again, because of just the constant fucking churn of them, it's kind of backslid. We're like, again, Quantumania. Like I'm not like CG blind. Like when people post like screenshots and stuff of like, oh, you can totally tell like, you know, this character is standing on a green screen stage, and I'm like, yeah, okay, the lighting's a little wonky. But when I'm watching the movie, I'm generally not thinking of that. I generally, like, unless I really stare at it, it's a shot for a second or two. It fades into the background. Quantumania is one of the only times that I've not just noticed it, but I've been consistently bothered by it for the entire film. Like, just terrible CG. terrible placement of people into that world. Which, again, there's no excuse for those things. Because Tron Legacy came out in 2011, and that was also, well, for the most part, an entirely digital world. Like, it's fucking crazy. No, maybe don't go so these sequels anymore. They only turn them out because they make a lot of money. I mean, I wanted to see, I was talking about it. I wanted to see Deadpool. I wanted to see Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, I like the X-Men. I like Wolverine. I like Deadpool. I always have. Like, and somebody saying like, oh, it just looked like a goofy, fun movie. It is. Like, it is an ideal movie to turn your brain off for like 2 hours. Like, it is very funny. I may even take my mom to go see it because she really likes Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. And like, it is a fun movie. You know, it is fun at a very basic level, and that's kind of, I guess that's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be high art and stuff, but I don't know. There's a crassness to it, not just the content, but there's a crassness to the way it navigates intellectual property that I find so sinister at just a very basic conceptual level. The Mad Hatter, you bite your fucking tongue. Tron Legacy is awesome. Tron Legacy and Tron, never made a bad Tron movie. That will unfortunately probably change. I am not super. There's a real, like, Tron Ares, the new movie coming next year, is a real monkey's paw situation because A, never thought I'd get a Tron 3. All right. B, Gillian Anderson. Okay. C, Jared Leto. What the fuck? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Give me 1 second. Whatever. What's the problem with Mark Martin Magma? What's the problem with Jared Leto aside from the fact that he's like just not a very good actor? He's a like very weird sex creep who had his own cult. Like, let's. Oh, X-Men 97 goes hard. X-Men 97 is Kino, like, unironically. The Cult of Jared. Creative Cult of Jared. Last year, Jared Leto and his band 30 Seconds to Mars started a cult. The band invited fans who called themselves the Echelon to a retreat in Croatia where Leto, dressed in white robes, hosted hundreds of his devotees for a 3-day music festival complete with yoga and movie screenings. Yes, this is a cult. Quote, Mars Island. Yeah, he's just a fucking... I think he's just a fucking creep. And a weird dude. And probably, drinks baby's blood unironically. Gutter Gator, the tie-in game Tron Evolution is also peak. I would say it is peak, but not as peak as Tron 2.0, the first-person shooter immersive sim made by Fear and Condemned developers Monolith. Tron 2.0 is fucking ballin'. Oh, I should play Tron 2.0 on stream sometime. Tron 2.0 is fucking crazy. 30 seconds to me binning my stereo. Alrighty, let's go to... Oh, you're so right. I'm never going to be able to unsee that. Jared Leto looks like Asmongold in the worst way possible. Fuck. What do you think of Dave Bautista's acting? I think Dave Bautista is great. It's not a great movie, but Shyamalan's latest, or before Trap, I think it was his latest before Trap, Knock at the Cabin Door, Bautista, like, carries the entire movie, unironically. Like, Bautista fucking whips it. Like, he's so good in that movie. It's as a movie, it's like not, it's like fine, it's whatever. But no, Bautista is like a real ass actor. He's really good. Thomas, we just got done on like a half-hour talk about Deadpool. Dead Domain, I would recommend Beverly Hills Cop 4. I liked it. I saw Beverly Hills Cop, again, another series that I watched all the time growing up. I liked Beverly Hills Cop 4 quite a bit. I'm really bummed it wasn't actually put on a big screen. Like, you want to talk about it's so rare to get that kind of good legacy requel, but here's the thing I liked about it. It didn't do the thing that so many other legacy movies do, where it always has to like introduce the next team, the next generation to like carry on. It's like there is Eddie Murphy's character has a kid, but other than that, it was fine. The one cool thing was when I was in LA, like it was the week before Axel F came out on Netflix, so there was branding up for it fucking everywhere, which was just kind of like, I don't know, it was neat. Like Beverly Hills Cop in Beverly Hills, it was fun. There was a good little synergy. TT gets angry at me when Banana Brains, you sound like I'm like whipping you in the basement. Like Master gets angry at me when I ban the trolls before they can play with them. No, Master, do not hit me again. you just make me sound so angry. Banana mentioned dummy. Oh yeah, Misfit Satanist, new RoboCop game. Hey, I made a video about that. Don't tell me I didn't tell you. Yeah, the Mad Hatter. Oh, for Beverly Hills Cop 4. Okay, yes. Yeah, the Doctor Doom thing is just. Like a lot of other people. Here's the thing. On paper, in a like Elseworlds or like an Ultimate spin on the character. Not that they didn't this in Ultimates. I know they didn't, but if they wanted to do a similar, like, let's strip down the character, let's put a unique spin on it. Doctor Doom as Tony Stark, as a what if, as a Marvel what if, not a bad premise, honestly. Like, I can kind of fuck with it. But as the Doctor Doom, nah. What I think they're unfortunately doing, like Doctor Doom is roughly in proximity to like Red Skull in terms of like comic book notoriety, in terms of badness. Like he's usually, if he's teaming up with other villains, Red Skull's usually there, right? Or the Mandarin, other cats like that. In terms of popularity though, he is by far one of the, if not the most popular Marvel villain. Like, Doctor Doom is stupid popular. He's an iconic character. And so, like, if they are reducing him to one movie, that's fucked up. I've heard a lot of like, you know, theories and stuff, which, you know, I think the casting is meant to generate theories and generate that interest so people will go see it. But man, just go. Like, I think there is going to be a different Doctor Doom. And what I actually think would be kind of cool is if they did do an Ultimate Doctor Doom for like thing where it was like, okay, here's Tony Stark, but he was never able to actually like deal with his mistakes, and all of his just constantly trying to control everything kept spiraling out of control, and it drove him mad, you know, in this alternate universe or whatever. And I would love to see, this is a weird fucking tangent. Nobody ever brings up that when they went through the Ultimate phase for the first time, Doctor Doom had goat legs in the original Ultimate FF. Like, and like literally everything that was different about the first line of Ultimates, it just like eventually quietly just got like swept away. It's one of those things that like by the next couple books, I don't know if the artist just forgot or whatever, but like they stopped making goat legs Doctor Doom, which I thought was one of the fucking most raw pieces of art for the character. Like this like satyr look is so fucking cool. But man, yeah, they started walking back with Doctor Doom despising Red Skull basically for the same reason as Magneto. Red Skull's a Nazi and DD is half Romani. The other main group they tried to exterminate. Smart. Help me piss all over the MCU and the steaming turd that is Hollywood. Heck yeah, goat legs. Yeah, and I've heard like people saying like you know, like, oh, like what if he takes over, like he's just going to take over Tony Stark's mind, or he's gonna like try and take over a Tony Stark in a different world. And like, okay, what if Doctor Doom tries to take over the multiverse, or like, you know, whatever. I think there's a lot of different at this point. Here's the other problem I have, and it's the same thing with Deadpool and Wolverine, is that like, okay, you had these two great character arcs in the previous films, much like with Robert Downey Jr., and even though you're not technically rolling that back, you are still like kind of just rolling back the idea that, okay, this might be the last time you see these characters, or this is the characters in the state of finality. You know, this is a character in a state of closure for their arc. And this is just another thing of like, no, they're just going to keep making this no matter what forever. There are several jokes in Deadpool and Wolverine that are like just laughing at the fact that, like, you know, you're going to be and I don't want to spoil the jokes, but laughing at the fact that they're going to keep Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds doing this as long as they fucking can. And it's like, dude, that fucking like workout regimen is not good on Hugh Jackman's body. He's talked about it in the past, getting that fucking jacked over and over and over. That's, yeah, I don't know. That's fucking rough. Irish DC, thank you for 100 biddies. They've started walking back. Yeah, okay, I just read that one. Sorry. Loki, thank you very much. Well, I think Doctor Doom will be in Fantastic Four in some way. I think they've, from the like Hall H or whatever promo footage they showed, I think Galactus is obviously going to be there. But like, Galactus is probably the last big bad of the MCU. Like, what do you do after Galactus? You know, like that was my thought years ago, is that, okay, they're gonna go Thanos, and then I thought probably Doom, and they did Kang, and Kang obviously didn't work out for a plethora of reasons. And then they did, like, I think they are building up to Galactus, but I think it's so, like, dog, you need another 10 years. Let that stew a little bit. God damn. Ugh. All right. Anyway. Sorry, it's been an hour of me talking Marvel now, but thank you, everybody, for listening to me ramble. So, friends, colleagues, we are gathered here today to talk about one of the weirdest motherfuckers to ever be a billionaire, which is saying something. Like, it is really saying something. I'll talk about some other Silicon Valley tech bros in a bit. Elon Musk, and I'm going to go through his very weird history at first here, right? Because I want to preface this by showing his mental faculties, his thought processes, are not those of a rational and healthy mind. And that is not in a way of like, oh, because he's such a genius, like he just knows nothing but masterful gambits. This is not the case. More often than not, his success is based entirely on luck or the hard work of other people that he just takes credit for. He is maybe more so than Alex Jones, more so than Graham Linehan, more so than Kanye West even, gives off the distinct air, the odor of divorced dad energy. And as we're going to talk about in a little bit, he might be one of the worst fathers, like, on the planet. Here's the man who's a billionaire, supposedly, and has 12 children. A lot of people don't know this. He has 12 children. And as we're going to hear, he's probably not around for them very often, unsurprisingly. He doesn't really interact with them very personally. However, he likes to exert a very specific kind of emotionally manipulative, abusive control over them. Because as I will show here, Elon Musk doesn't really see his children as independent beings with their own thoughts and feelings and observations about the world, their own internal drives and things that they want to do in their life. Like other bizarre Silicon Valley pronatalists, I'll talk about that in a second. That's a whole tangent we'll be going on. Elon Musk simply reproduces. He doesn't so much have kids as he sees them as an extension of himself. That he can put more of himself into the world as some kind of genetic legacy. And mind you, yes, this is based heavily in eugenics. Again, these are all things we will talk about in a bit. But first, before we get to the absentee father who dead names his child on Jordan Peterson's show, before we get to how his child had to come forward to attest that he just made shit up about her that wasn't true, before we get to, this is my personal favorite, before we get to the fact that he is currently essentially holding 3 of his children hostage from seeing their ailing and possibly dying grandmother. Before we get to all that, just put that in a box, sweep that off to the side. Because first, we have to go through his history of being a fudging weirdo. Pause that real quick. Now, this is from sky.com. Kiwi TP, I hate this dude more than Trump. He really rubs me the wrong way. That's because Trump is also a weirdo, but Trump is genuinely a weirdo about it. Like, Trump also has personality. Like, that's a thing that Elon is lacking. Elon has a false sense of confidence that you can see very quickly crumbles under almost any pressure. Like, he seems to get this sense of purpose from people on the internet holding him up, sending him fan art, always being in his mentions and replies, which is essentially kind of why I think he bought Twitter. Yeah, also, like, Trump can riff. Elon cannot. And Kiwi TP, so I didn't put together a full timeline of it, but it is my personal, not professional. I have literally outside of knowing people who have been on substances before, not myself, others, outside of knowing people like that, I have no reason to say this, but it is my personal opinion that Elon Musk does a lot of drugs, or at the very least uppers, especially when you see him in public lately. It's uncanny. I'll just say that. It's uncanny. Elon. Here's a favorite one. November 2023, he promoted an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. The Tesla chief agreed with a post on November 16th of November that falsely claimed Jewish people were stoking hatred against white people, saying the user who referenced the Great Replacement conspiracy theory was speaking the actual truth. This is really funny because the Daily Wire, who's he's super chummy with, got in contact with him and like had him do like a Holocaust museum trip and everything, and that was what changed his mind. Not like actually doing any research into the subject whatsoever. Like, he just got conspiracy pilled by a different right-wing source. It's great. You love to see it. You should repeat that. Have a good rest of your night. I've heard he's a fan of ketamine. I wouldn't be surprised. Adding fuel to the Pizzagate fire. Musk was accused of promoting a long-debunked conspiracy theory which alleged high-profile Democrats ran a pedophile abuse ring from a Washington pizza restaurant. For those of you who don't know, Comet Ping Pong was circulated by so many people in QAnon circles, and I believe Alex Jones as well, that resulted in one very unwell person shooting up the place. Nobody died, thankfully, but it has been proven that like the child abuse ring in the basement does not exist. It does not exist. This is also an important thing to note, is as Elon, and we'll hear him talk, actually I'm not going to play his interview about his daughter, but we will talk about what he says later and how he joined the war on the woke mind virus. The man is so easy to sway to things that he already basically wants to believe. Like, he doesn't seem to, at least when he came into Twitter, he didn't seem to know anything about like anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, which is why you see him doing things like sharing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, because he doesn't understand the undertones there. He doesn't understand the history behind these conspiracies. He just understands that latching on to a right-wing direction has increased his popularity. And with that popularity comes more sycophants that can help him alleviate what I can only imagine is a massive, unending, bottomless pit of insecurity that gnaws at him in the middle of the night. Which is what I really hope. That could just be me thinking wishfully. What else do we got? Backing controversial war accounts. Failing to tackle the spread of disinformation about the conflict between Israel and Hamas amidst denying requests from Ukraine. Oh, here is a fun one. December 2022. Musk bans journalists from X. Musk was told he faced EU sanctions after he claimed a number of prominent reporters had been booted off X for sharing personal information about him. He claimed the journalists in question had doxed my exact location in real time because they had tweeted about @ElonJet, an account which tracked his private plane. Musk said people sharing his location were basically giving out, quote, assassination coordinates. Trump is reinstated. Sharing a baseless claim after the attack on Paul Pelosi. The article Musk shared recycled a baseless claim that the personal life of Paul Pelosi, the former House Speaker's husband, somehow played a role in an intruder's attack in the couple's San Francisco home. He later deleted the post. Where are the other ones? Come on. I know there are more. Either way, I do want to go to this one, which people tend to forget about this, and we're gonna tie this into the baby fur thing that has been recently unfolding. Elon Musk confirms he's been role-playing as a toddler for years. This was April 9th of this year. A 108-page deposition of Elon Musk went public on Monday, as first reported by HuffPost. I do want to open that. The deposition occurred when the billionaire discussed his strangely alternate X accounts. One of the accounts filed in the case is Erman Musk, according to HuffPost, which is long suspected to be a Musk burner where he roleplays as his toddler. The 2-hour deposition is part of a lawsuit that alleges Musk falsely accused a 22-year-old Jewish man of participating in a neo-Nazi brawl. The Wayback Machine reveals several strange deleted tweets Musk shared from this account, such as, quote, "I will finally turn 3 on May 4th, which is the actual birth date and age of his son, XA12, which is how you pronounce that. Other deleted tweets are, "For the love of God, can someone follow me?" as well as, quote, "Do you like Japanese girls?" And lastly, quote, "I wish I was old enough to go to nightclubs. They sound so fun." Musk references another alternate account in the deposition listed as, quote, "Baby Smoke 9000 in the court transcription. No such account exists on X, though it could be a typo referring to Baby Smurf 9000, another long suspected Elon burner. A Medium article from October 2023 says Elon confirmed this to be his alt in an X Spaces. That account is still active today with its last tweet on April 4th. From HuffPost, Elon Musk didn't want his latest deposition released. Here it is. The lawsuit against the billionaire filed in October alleges that Musk used his colossal social media platform to amplify a false far-right conspiracy theory linking 22-year-old Ben Brody to a brawl in Oregon between the neo-Nazi group Rose City Nationalists and the Proud Boys, a neo-fascist fight club. The brawl occurred during Oregon City's first Pride Night Fest when both groups came to disrupt the event and spew anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. You love to see it. 2 repressed dipshits really just brawling it out on the streets. And that's... You love to see it, folks. Brody wasn't even in the same state when the June 24th brawl occurred, but his world was turned upside down when far-right X accounts, magnified by Musk, falsely identified him as a member of Rose City Nationalists and an undercover federal agent and posted his personal information online. Wouldn't be surprised, I don't know who that was, but considering Elon is very personally chummy with libs of TikTok and is constantly responding to both her and Matt Walsh, I wouldn't be surprised if either of those 2 idiots were responsible for that. Brody said he and his family were forced to flee their home amid the fallout from Musk posts. He's seeking more than $1 million in damages. Musk sat for a 2-hour deposition with attorneys from both parties over Zoom. Following the testimony, Musk's lawyer, Alex Spiro, filed multiple emergency motions in an attempt to keep the deposition sealed. Musk also made broader admissions about his failures with X, which has plummeted in value since his takeover in 2022, saying he, quote, "may have done more to financially impair the social media site than help it. No shit." Musk also confirmed that he once used a burner account on X, seemingly to roleplay as his toddler son. And we got my boy, the GOAT, the God, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Bankston. And here, God, I would love to have Mark on sometime to talk about this stuff because, like, everything he touches is just so good. For those who don't know, Mark Bankston was also represented the Sandy Hook parents in the Alex Jones trial, and he is just an amazing take no shit lawyer who is masterful when it comes to catching people in like rhetorical traps and getting them to admit shit that they didn't want to admit. Just wonderful work here. A billionaire's fact-checking process. Here's a good one. As we're going to get into what Elon thinks about the woke mob. Contrary to his earlier statements, Musk suggested later on in the deposition that he researches discourse before he joins that. Bullshit. If you care about the truth, you have to go look about it. Musk's own testimony reveals he did little to seek out the truth. Quote, would it be fair for me to say that, other than the tweets that you interacted with, you did not secure other information about this unmasked brawler? Bankston asked at one point. All right, I'm going to try and do my Mark Bankston impression, because he has a really, like, authoritative, exasperated tone, like a disappointed coach. Would it be fair for me to say that, other than the tweets that you interacted with, you did not secure other information about this masked brawler? Bankston asked at one point. I don't recall securing other information, Musk responded. During his testimony, Musk criticized what he called the traditional legacy news industry, while lauding X's Community Notes, a website tool that allows users to add corrections or additional context to misleading or untrue posts. Musk called Community Notes the best system on the internet for fact-checking and said he tagged Community Notes in his post referencing Brody as a show of good faith. Musk downplayed the number and argued that his post was merely a reply to someone else, which attracted less viewership than his own post would. Anti-Semitic meme, Dr. Frenzer. Oof, 108 pages. Maybe we should go through this a little bit. Oh, God. They're like getting into arguments. So good. Man. Oh, man. You love to see it. You really love to see it. Now, just a second. Let me pull up the next thing. Oh, right. Chat. Walk with me here. Before we get into the rest of Elon's incredibly weird shit, I want to talk about... Yes, Razior NG, it absolutely is. The baby fur thing that is unfolding over the last couple days. Where apparently Elon Musk, at some point in the past, tried to ingratiate himself into the baby fur community of San Francisco. Right now, this appears to be the only kind of like photo evidence. I do not know what he's doing. I think he is, one of the things said he's rolling a joint. What the fuck are these words? I do not know I'm not sure what the difference between a furry and a baby fur is, and Chad, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really care. I don't really know. I don't really care. However, do you identify as a furry? In April of 2019, Elon Musk responded, fur curious. No. Baby fur is when a furry has a diaper fetish? I don't want to. Do you ever just want to go back to like a couple seconds before you knew something? Just like knock yourself out so you wouldn't know it? Kind of how I feel right now. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. It's like a combination of furry and lolicon. Yeah, Nelson JD, I'm gonna say you do you. You do you. I I don't want to yuck anybody's yum as long as everybody is consenting and of legal age and nobody is getting hurt. Via con Dios, go with God. Camo Theseus, via Urban Dictionary, someone who exhibits infantilistic and furry tendencies are humans who see themselves as baby animals, often seen in diapers, and may possess several pacifiers and baby bottles. Some sleep in large cribs related to furry and infantilism. Nothing to say. When do you think Elon Musk... So this all started... When do you think Elon Musk's downfall started? When he failed to worm his way into the Bay Area of baby fur community in like 2009, true story. Which was, I guess, backed up by this. So... And people tie this into what we already talked about, his adult, child, infant role play that he does of his children. Of his children. Now, that's already, I'm going to say, and I realize the word weird is becoming, I don't know why it's becoming such a big topic, because people like Elon Musk are weird. Like, I'm sorry. He is a deeply weird person. I'm not going to apologize for saying it. But bear in mind, I want you to keep his feelings on children, impersonating children, and baby furs, alleged feelings on baby furs in mind as we talk about this next part. Because this is going to be, I promise, all of these tangents, they are going towards the focal point. Just stay with me for a little bit. Okay, we'll get there. 2024, June 21st, Elon Musk's $10 million pronatalism donation is a cover for eugenics support from Jalopnik. Elon is a fan of having lots of kids so long as they don't go having opinions of their own. In fact, Musk loves kids so much that he thinks you should have one. Have a few. Just make sure you're the type who should be having kids first. This is effectively the driving idea behind the Population Wellbeing Initiative, a project out of the University of Texas that Musk established with a $10 million donation. It's the idea behind Musk's constant birth rate alarmism on social media, a topic he's even paired with racist great replacement theory. A new Bloomberg report showed just how deep Musk's ties to the pronatalist movement go. And he has been... on Twitter for months now. He has been talking up for, I feel like, years at this point, actually. Not so subtly hinting. Not necessarily he's not so much a great replacement guy as he is a covering great replacement rhetoric by talking about declining birth rates and the collapse of birth rates. Which, if you watch this channel or you watch other conspiracy theories, you know those talking points go hand in hand. From Jalopnik, if you played unhealthy close attention, you may have also noticed a pattern. It's becoming rarer for Musk to get through an interview or meet a world leader without bringing up babies, sometimes with his young son X in tow. In Musk's mind, global fertility rates are not just a crisis, but the crisis. In 2022, he tweeted that a collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger civilization faces by far. 2023, he told Tucker Carlson, once you have birth control and abortions and whatnot, now you can still satisfy the limbic instinct, but not procreate. He added, will civilization end with a bang or a whimper? Well, it's currently trying to end with a whimper in adult diapers, which is depressing as hell, end quote. I want you to think about, by the way, that he said adult diapers right after the baby fur stuff. Elon, Right after the impersonating your kid stuff, Elon? I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Hey, Elon? Elon. I'm just asking questions, okay? I'm just... This is how the free flow of information goes. I'm just asking questions. That's a very interesting word choice you pick there. Adult diapers. The facts don't seem to have put Musk's mind at ease. He fathered at least 12 children, 6 of them in the past 5 years. 3 with the musician Grimes, and 3 with Neuralink Corp's director of special projects, Siobhan Zillis, including one who hasn't been known to the public until now. That child was born earlier this year, according to people familiar with the matter, who would only discuss it on condition of anonymity. Zillis declined to comment, and Musk didn't respond to inquiries. In 2021, Musk anonymously donated $10 million, according to his foundation's tax returns. This donation, Musk's largest ever, established a research group called the Population Wellbeing Initiative. Publicly, it says the mission is to quantitative social science research. Privately, it has said it aims to legitimize the idea that, quote, low fertility is a key threat to long-run flourishing. Musk's goal through PWI is to encourage higher birth rates in hopes of stemming some sort of sudden population collapse, a collapse that scientists largely agree is unrealistic, bordering on impossible. Again, remember, this is the guy, he said, oh yeah, I do my research, but he very fucking clearly does not. His intense focus on such an unlikely outcome isn't without precedent, with Musk ties to the ethical altruist movement in mind. A link Bloomberg also noted, the fear-based approach echoes the EA approach of long-termism. It's an offshoot of utilitarianism focused on doing the greatest good for the greatest number of people, specifically how rich people can best donate their money to empirically help more people rather than focusing on causes they simply care about. It expands to cover potential future people within that utilitarian viewpoint, arguing that they deserve protection most of all, and that something that threatens all of them, no matter how unlikely, like the myth of population collapse, must be fought against all odds. Abigail Thorne has a great description. God, Abigail is slaying in that video. Where was it? Bloomberg talks about the eugenics of pronatalism in broad strokes, pointing out that the movement often bends towards preserving specific races or traits, but we can look to Musk's history to theorize about his personal desired outcomes. From Mother Jones, Musk is amplifying users who will incorporate cherry-picked data and misleading graphs into their argument as to why people of European descent are biologically superior, showing how fringe accounts, like user I/O, experience a drastic jump in followers after Musk shares their tweets. The account has even thanked Musk for raising awareness. People are more susceptible, quote, people are more susceptible to simpler chats with race and IQ than they are to really complicated stuff. Will Stansel, a lawyer and research fellow at the Institute on Metropolitan Opportunity, told Garrison in a video interview. He added, quote, this is the most basic statistical error in the book. Correlation does not equal causation. Musk has long held the idea that C-sections lead to higher intelligence, a theory refuted by scientific studies. There's more to his beliefs than that. In the same tweets, Musk ties assortative mating to a massive rise in exceptionally smart people. Assortative mating being the tendency for like to attract like. Elon Musk believes people should have more babies. He believes those babies should be smart, and he believes that's best achieved through people breeding with others like them in the phrenological sense. He believes that this effort is of world-saving importance and believes it's worth millions of dollars in financial backing. Is this someone you want to buy a car from? Now, I have in my notes when I was doing research for this, I have this story saved under the byline, these fucking freaks. And this pro-natalist Silicon Valley couple, we're going to talk about in a second. Yeah, we are. We're going to talk about them because this is intimately tied into Elon's own philosophy and a growing philosophy among the uber rich that is essentially just eugenics. Just eugenics. They are just trying to use what they believe are their superior genes, you see, to create and Ubermensch. And these absolute freakos, much like Elon, have a bizarre fascination with naming their children things that are just going to get them bullied for the rest of their lives. So good job, parents. And I'll be right back. I'm going to make some tea because my throat is starting to crack. So hold that thought stream. I will turn on some music for y'all. Alrighty. We're back, chat. Back and ready to play. Alright. Oh, viving it up. I'm going to, yes. A second. So this isn't exactly a, let me make sure this is the right one. Here. Yes. So this isn't exactly a, really quick, this isn't like going to be a charity, huge charity stream thing. Because I don't think it's enough. Like we just need a little over $200 to fill this one. But somebody did contact me about this really quick. I've pinned the link in the chat. If you can give a little bit, I will probably be covering this for the next couple streams. I know, you know, we just got done doing a 10,000K, a 10K fundraising stream. But if you can give just a couple bucks, this one is not going to be nearly as hard to reach. Like if I was streaming games and chatting with guests, I know we could do this in a couple hours. I'm still probably going to be streaming for another couple hours. So I hope that you guys can give a little bit. And the link is pinned in the Twitch chat. And if Banana Brains is still here, or if somebody else wants to, if y'all have a mod, please pin it over in the YouTube chat, because I can't do it from this end. Alrighty. And thank you, Vivian, for posting that. So I wanted to talk about this really quick to address this kind of culture of pronatalism. From Daily Mail, elite couple breeding to save mankind insists they are not trying to perfect the human race despite using embryo selection. Quote, we just want to give our kids the best possible roll of the dice. Simone and Malcolm Collins are a couple who are promoting pronatalism, like we were just talking about with Elon. The idea of having more children to combat fertility collapse and increase birth rate, which, much like we just heard with Elon, is not a real actual concern. They plan to have at least 7 children. The couple has used genetic testing to optimize traits, but the pronatalist movement is controversial, with many viewing it as a form of eugenics and linked to racist and misogynistic ideologies, which it is. All right, I'm going to take this bone away from my dog because it's going to mess up my recording. Alrighty. See what this text is. The Collinses, a married couple with 3 children from Pennsylvania, are self-proclaimed pro-native. I guess they're not Silicon Valley. They're still rich assholes, so you can see why I'd make a distinction. Yeah, here we go. Malcolm Collins, 36, and his wife, Simone, 35, have 3 children, 5-month-old daughter, Titan Invictus, and sons Octavian, 3, and Torsten, 2. The couple hope to have 7 kids in all. But what are their next ones? Hannibal, Caligula, Caesar? When conceiving Titan Invictus, a name that they decided upon because they feared a feminine name would be taken less seriously. The couple went through genetic testing and embryo selection to ensure the child wouldn't be obese or suffer from anxiety when they grew up. By the way, there's no way to definitively have that be a genetic trait. No way. You can still become obese. You can be not necessarily predisposed. But that will not mean that their kid is gonna just not grow. What? Why can't they give them normal names? Because they are self-obsessed lunatics. Much like Elon Musk. They are not... The reason I bring them up is because it is not... Elon is not an isolated attitude with rich people right now. It is not because, again, they want to have kids. You know, no regular, rational family has charted out their children like this. Like, anybody whose mom and dad had another kid when they were growing up, it was probably an accident. that they decided to keep. Or sometimes they're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm ready for another one. Yeah, we could use another one. Like maybe we'll have 3. Like, wouldn't it be nice to give our daughter a sister or a brother, you know? Like, those are the normal human thoughts. Planning out and charting, yeah, we're going to have 7 kids by the time that we're this age, and they're all going to be pre-selected in their embryonic stages, is not a normal human way to interact with the reproductive process in a very real way. Yeah, exactly. Irish DC, they don't want kids, they want spawn. Exactly. They do not want children. And much like we'll see with Musk, he doesn't actually want kids. He wants propagation. He wants offspring. He doesn't want to be a father. He wants to leave some kind of, in his mind, a twisted version of a legacy is what he's leaving with this stuff. And I just wanted to look at these people. The Collinses have been labeled hipster eugenicists, a label they denounced. Yeah. Malcolm and Simone co-founded the nonprofit pronatalist.org, and made themselves the poster child of the movement, which is largely situated in Silicon Valley. Twitter CEO and Tesla boss Elon Musk is also a champion of pronatalism. Musk has had 10 children with 3 different women and believes civilization is going to crumble unless everyone starts having more kids. This is just saying the quiet part out loud. The reason why you see Silicon Valley people disproportionately being drawn to this is they're obsessed with data enough and wealthy enough to be looking at things, and who also have enough wealth and power that they're not afraid of being canceled. That's it. That's the kit and caboodle. I just spilled on myself. Banana Brains on YouTube is trying to get my attention. Sorry. Hello, Banana Brains. I cannot see the YouTube chat. Okay, now it's loading. The mods can't pin the link? Okay. Okay. I can't really do it right now from what I'm doing. All right, I will have a contingency planned next time. Oh, there we go. History's Actor, you got it. Thank you, History's Actor. Way to be a bro. Okay. Scott Blanchard, I am doing okay. So, let me pull up some of the next things we're looking at. Yeah, I hate this fucker. All right. I'll pull these up real quick. Richard Dawkins is a famous atheist turned, I believe, TERF now. Like, I think he's on that tip. So let's talk about that. Yeah, Grimes expresses unconditional love and support for Vivian, who, by the way, Vivian's not even Grimes' kid. Vivian's another woman. Vivian is another woman's kid. She just also happens to be the spawn of Elon. So we'll talk really quick about what happened last week. In a Threads post, and this was before the MSNBC thing, but I'm not going to give any more air. If you want, the interview's out there, you can go watch it if you want. But Elon Musk, being the insensitive piece of shit that he is, went on Jordan Peterson's show to talk about how the woke mind virus stole, in his words, his son, who is now a trans woman, and how he was tricked into signing documents. Turns out all of this is bullshit, as we'll see here. The first time Vivian spoke out about this, Musk said he vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after he was tricked into signing papers for puberty blockers. Vivian responded in a series of posts on Threads, quote, "He's desperate for attention and validation from an army of degenerate red-pilled incels and pick-me's who are quick to give it to him. Go touch some fucking grass." You love to see it. You love to see it. Scott Blanchard, I'm okay. I'm just, I get a little sniffly when I talk for a long time, and I've been talking for almost 2 hours straight. I am not always sniffly. I am a little bit. From NBC News, Elon Musk's trans daughter in first interview says he berated her for being queer as a child. In an exclusive interview, Vivian Jenna Wilson said her father's recent statements, including that she is not a girl, inspired her to speak out. Quote, "I'm not just going to let that slide." Look, like, yeah, not a girl. Okay, idiot. Wilson, 20, in an exclusive interview with the NBC, responded to comments Musk made Monday about her and her trans identity. On social media and in an interview, Musk said she was, quote, "not a girl," and was figuratively dead, and he alleged that he had been tricked into authorizing trans-related medical treatment when she was 16. Wilson said that Musk hadn't been tricked, and that after initially having hesitated, he knew what he was doing when he agreed to her treatment, which required consent from her parents. Musk's recent statements crossed the line, she said. Quote, "I think he was under the assumption that I wasn't going to say anything and I would just let this go unchallenged," Wilson said in a phone interview, "which I'm not going to do, because if you're going to lie about me blatantly to an audience of millions, I'm not just going to let that slide." Which is what he, by the way, that's what he is used to. He is not used to pushback. He's used to just lying and fucking getting away with it. That's all he does. Thank you very much, History's Actor, for posting that GoFundMe link in the chat. Everybody, please go donate a little bit so we can get that filled. I'd like that filled by the end of the stream, if possible, so I give it another hour or two. But if you have 10, 20 bucks to throw, it can make all the difference in the world to somebody struggling right now, so please go help out. Now, here's the really interesting part, because this is one of the first times, if you'll recall earlier when they were listing off the 12 children that he's had with, like, multiple different women, a lot of them just kind of pop out and aren't seen publicly. Like, Ash, the one that he completely fucked over by giving a stupid name, is one of the only kids he's really ever been public about. A lot of them are, like, just kind of hidden. Like, technically, there's only 12 kids that we know about. There very easily could be more. And along with that comes, we don't get a lot of looks at how he is as a father. And this interview from Vivian is one of the first times that we really see that. And I wholeheartedly believe everything she says here. Wilson said that for as long as she could remember, Musk hasn't been a supportive father. She said he was rarely She said he was rarely present in her life, leaving her and her siblings to be cared for by their mother or by nannies, even though Musk had joint custody, and she said Musk berated her when he was present. Oh. The man should not have children. You're correct, Nelson JD. He has like 12 of them, though. At least. He was cold, she said. He's very quick to anger. He is uncaring and narcissistic. All things, by the way, borne out and shown publicly by his public persona. Like these are not stretches for Elon's personality. Like you can absolutely see these things. Wilson said that when she was a child, Musk would harass her for exhibiting feminine traits and pressure her to appear more masculine, including by pushing her to deepen her voice as early as elementary school. I was in 4th grade. We went on this road trip that I didn't know was actually just an advertisement for one of the cars. I don't remember which one. And he was constantly yelling at me viciously because my voice was too high. It was cruel. Musk didn't respond to a request for comment. Wilson and her twin brother were born to Musk's first wife, author Justine Musk. The couple divorced in 2008, and Wilson said her parents shared custody between their homes in the LA area. Musk, 53, is among the wealthiest people in the world through his stakes in Tesla, where he's CEO, and in SpaceX, which he founded. He has also become a significant political figure, having endorsed Donald Trump this month for another term in the White House. Musk has 12 children. Now a college student studying languages, Wilson has never granted an interview before and has largely stayed out of public view. She did, however, attract attention in 2022 when she sought court approval in California to change her name and in the process denounced her father. Quote, I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form, she said in the court filing. She told NBC News that at the time, she was surprised by the media attention to the court filing, which she submitted when she was 18. She said in the interview that she stands by what she wrote, though she said she might have tried to be more eloquent had she known the coverage it would get. Wilson said she hadn't spoken to Musk in about 4 years and she refused to be defined by him. I would like to emphasize one... Excuse me. I would like to emphasize... What? Emphasize? Why? Why is that hard to say? I would like to emphasize one thing. I am an adult. I am 20 years old. I am not a child. My life should be defined by my own choices. Based. Fucking based. Now, this is what Musk said. Musk threw a spotlight on Wilson on Monday by speaking about their relationship in a video interview with psychologist and conservative commentator Jordan Peterson streamed on X. Which, by the way, I feel like NBC, I know you're trying to like toe the line or whatever, but you're doing a real disservice to the person that the interview was with by not pointing out Jordan Peterson, famous meat coma benzo addict. Just saying. Just saying. Not that there's anything wrong with being an addict, and anybody who is facing that struggle should seek help. However, there is something wrong with it when you think you have an authority to give other people advice on their lives, and especially when it comes to medicine. You hack fraud motherfucker. Get fucking censored by your college, bitch. Yes, it is funny to say meat coma. In a post on X, Musk said Monday that Wilson was, quote, born gay and slightly autistic, and that at age 4, she fit certain gay stereotypes, such as loving musicals and using the exclamation fabulous to describe certain clothing. Wilson told NBC News that the anecdotes aren't true, though she said she did act stereotypically feminine in other ways as a child. So, like, straight up, because Elon is the most easily led rube in the world and will believe literally any narrative that's fed him, here he is buying into the gender-critical and TERF argument that all trans women are secretly just gay boys who have been, I guess, fucking transitioned by big medical because they hate gay boys. It's not a real, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, don't think about it too hard. Wilson also addressed Musk's recent comments in a series of posts Thursday on the social media app Threads. He doesn't know what I was like as a child because he quite simply wasn't there. And in the little time he was, I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness. I've been reduced to a happy little stereotype, she continued. I think that says a lot about how he views queer people and children in general. In recent years, Musk has taken a hard right turn into conservative politics and been waging a campaign against transgender people and policies designed to support them. This month, he said he was pulling his businesses out of California to protest a new state law that bars schools from requiring that trans kids be outed to their parents. On X, Musk has for years criticized trans rights, including medical treatments for trans-identifying minors and use of pronouns if they are different from what would be used at birth. He has promoted anti-trans content and called for arresting people who provide trans care to minors. Musk told Peterson that Wilson's gender transition had been the motivation for his push into conservative politics. So this again, tie all of this together in a little bow, because this perfectly sums up why Elon has pushed so far to the right, the woke mind virus. And you tie this in to the way that he doesn't view children as their own people with their own internal thought processes, their own internal worlds, aspirations, ideas, and dreams. He quite literally just views them as an extension of himself, and that they should be forced to be how he wants them to be. Like, that one of them decided to break containment, and God bless her, go on and do her own thing because she seems like she is living a very happy and productive and fruitful life. Yet, that was enough to cause him to snap. And I think so much of that shows what a thin-skinned, frail, emotional child he really is. Wilson was also mentioned in a biography of Musk by author Walter Isaacson, a book she told NBC News was inaccurate and unfair to her. The book refers to her politics as radical Marxism, quoting Musk's sister-in-law, Christiana Musk, but Wilson said she's not a Marxist, though she does oppose wealth inequality. The book also calls her by her middle name, Jenna. Wilson said Isaacson never reached out to her directly ahead of publication. In a phone interview Thursday, Isaacson said he had reached out to Wilson through family members. Christiana Musk didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. Wilson told NBC that for years she had considered speaking out about Musk's behavior as a parent and as a person, but that she could no longer remain silent after his comments Monday. She said she had never received an explanation for why her father spent so little time with her and her siblings, behavior that she now views as strange. Quote, he was there, I want to say maybe 10% of the time. That's generous. He had half custody and he fully was not there. It was just a fact of life at the time, so I don't think I realized just how abnormal of an experience it was. The pandemic was a chance to escape Musk's cruelty, she said. When COVID hit, I was like, I'm not going over there, she said. It was basically very lucky timing. Musk told Peterson in the interview that he had been tricked into signing documents authorizing trans-related medical treatment for Wilson, an allegation Wilson says isn't true. Quote, I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, using her birth name. This was before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on. Adding that he was told she might commit suicide. This is another turf talking point that they like to bring up. Wilson said that in 2020, when she was still a minor, she wanted to start treatment for severe gender dysphoria, but needed the consent of both parents under California law. She said that her mother was supportive, but Musk initially wasn't. She said she texted him about it for a while. Quote, I was trying to do this for months, but he said I had to go meet with him in person. At that point, it was very clear that we both had a very distinct disdain for each other. When she eventually went and gave him the medical forms, she said, he read them at least twice, once with her and then again on his own, before he signed them. Quote, he was not by any means tricked. He knew the full side effects, she said. She said she took puberty blockers before she switched to hormone replacement therapy treatments that she said were life-saving for her and many other transgender people. They saved lives. Let's not get that twisted. They definitely allowed me to thrive. She said she believed the requirements to obtain such treatments remain onerous, with teenagers pressured to say they're at extreme risk of self-harm before they'll be approved. She said she felt judged by Musk and Peterson in the Monday interview for not being at high enough risk in their eyes. Quote, I've basically been put into a point where to a group of people, I have to basically prove whether or not I was suicidal or not to warrant medically transitioning. It's absolutely mind-boggling. I'm so glad she did this interview. I'm so glad. And I would love to talk to her in person. I would love to. I have an idea actually for a project that if I can ever get, if anybody knows how to contact Vivian Musk, fucking email me, because I would love to reach out to her because I have a fantastic project idea. I know I've tried friending her on Threads. Now, One last little thing as we're going here. Through all of this, I hope I've painted a picture for you that Elon Musk is a very strange person who does not view things like procreation and children in a healthy or normal way. He doesn't see them as their own unique organisms. He doesn't see them as sentient beings. He sees them as part of this weird eugenics plan to pass on his genes to another generation, to prevent the crumbling of civilizational collapse, which isn't a real concern to begin with. Now, is he just an idiot? A lot of evidence pointing in that specific direction. But this article, I feel, kind of sums up a lot of what we've been talking about. I feel Elon Musk is a deeply insecure person. And that's where so many of these things, from his push to the right, to his bizarre role-playing, to even his odd predilection for infantilization, whether that's the toddler role-playing, his use of adult diapers and metaphors, or allegedly his inclusion or attempted inclusion into a baby fur community. It all comes around to, I think, the fact that Elon Musk is a deeply, deeply sad, insecure person who just wants to be loved and adored with fawning praise all the time. And I think the right wing gives him that, uncritically, oftentimes. On July 22nd, Elon Musk appeared on Jordan Peterson's Daily Wire-funded podcast for a wide-ranging and often unhinged conversation. The fact Musk is appearing in such places shows us how far down the rabbit hole of right-wing extremism he's gone. But there was a brief exchange in the interview where Musk misgendered and dead-named his trans daughter that caught people's attention. We just talked about all of that. Not long after that news broke, Musk shared a photo on Twitter of himself visiting the Pope alongside the rest of the living children he had with his first wife, Justine Wilson, on what seemed like a hastily organized European vacation. Walter Isaacson later revealed in his 2023 biography that the four sons were upset he'd shared the photo to the degree that one of them broke down in tears. One of the sons asked him not to tweet out pictures of them without their permission, Isaacson wrote. Quote, Musk got depressed, dropped off the group chat, and a few minutes later sent word they were returning to the U.S. Like, he is literally he's a child. He's a fucking child. A few months later, Musk was interviewed in the Financial Times and blamed his daughter's decision to distance herself from him on a neo-Marxist takeover of elite schools and universities. Quote, it's full-on communism and a general sentiment that if you're rich, you're evil. I mean, he's not really disproving it, though. Like, I mean, buddy, you gotta be a good, like, example of how that's not the case. Kenny pens, it's so weird how passing on genes becomes their end goal. It's because they view themselves as, like, literally, like, hey, Musk has railed on in the past about not wanting to be on public transport, about how cities are so dirty. He's also been very openly racist and allowed racism to happen in his workplace, even though he's known about it, which is, I believe, led to, let me see. Yeah, EEOC sues Tesla for racial harassment and retaliation. It might be, who can say if Elon Musk is racist? He probably is. But I think it also comes down to the fact that he literally sees himself as superior to other people. Like, he literally views himself as an above average, not above average, far above average, a Ubermensch in the modern era. It doesn't matter how many unflattering side profile pictures you'll take of him. It doesn't matter how bad beach shots you'll get of him, proving that he's far from a physical specimen. It doesn't matter how many massive billion-dollar foibles he'll make with Twitter stock prices fucking plummeting, advertisers fleeing in droves as it becomes a cesspool for Nazis. He has convinced himself, and the people, the sycophants around him that feed on him like leeches, have helped to convince him that he is a brilliant mind, that he is doing something good in the world. And so people like him and that freak couple, they believe that it is part of their duty to continue. Because they are so exceptional that they need to continue making more people just like them. Other people that are also exceptional. Pronatalism is the name of the thing. He's talked repeatedly about the need for, quote, smart people to have more children, arguments that have direct links to eugenic rhetoric of the past. More recently, Musk has embraced the white replacement conspiracy theory that asserts certain elites, often Jewish ones, are orchestrating mass migration to replace the white populations of Western countries with non-whites to change their demographics and political dynamics. Despite his warnings against population decline, his increasing vocal opposition to migration across the southern U.S. border and the Mediterranean Sea, paired with his embrace of far-right conspiracies, shows very clearly it's only certain demographics whose population he wants to see expand. Interesting little foible in the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about like population density and control is if Jews already control all the media and the world and the government and everything, why do they need to change the political demographics? Like why would they need to change that? If they already control everything, why do they need to change things so they can control things? Who can say? Misanthropic, did you know everyone, including the developers, hated the inclusion of the Cybertruck in Fortnite? I did see somebody talk about that. Also, how does he own Twitter? He has a large, like SpaceX has a shit ton of government contracts and funding, which is where a large portion of his money comes from. And so does Tesla too. Like they get massive amounts of tax breaks from the government. And so he just decided to literally buy Twitter. Musk has personally embraced a worldview called long-termism that argues addressing global poverty or hunger aren't effective uses of humanity's collective resources, which should instead go to the interests of elites, things like space travel and merging human brains with computers. That's supposedly justified as a way to guarantee the future of the human species, but it's not the only part of the plan. By the way, he said we would already be on Mars, by the way, and we fucking aren't. Like, nobody really seems to ever bring that up to him. Like, the amount of times that he's promised shit that just, like, straight up never materialized. Even as somebody who he so desperately wants to be like the Tony Stark figure that early 2010s nerds like tried to make him out to be. And it's like if he made an Iron Man suit, it would crash into a wall on the first test run and he would break his neck. Like he does not have that dog in him. Elon Musk is a bad parent. When you view the world through such a lens, it's not hard to see how you can become hostile to decisions or policies that reduce fertility. Last year, Musk told Tucker Carlson that he felt birth control and abortions had a negative effect on procreation and that humans hadn't yet evolved to accommodate for it. His statements against trans people, including his own daughter, can be seen as pure bigotry, but they're also linked to his pronatalist views. Once someone, especially one of his children, loses their ability to reproduce, they are dead to him. Musk's daughter should not have put up with her father making increasingly insulting and belittling statements about her. Luckily, she does have one good parent on her side. After she filed to change her name and her gender, her mother tweeted she was very proud of her daughter, even after what Vivian described as a weird childhood. And to top that off, as if this wasn't enough evidence that Elon Musk is emotionally manipulative, that Elon Musk is completely immature and wants to exert control over anything, even if it's sentient, has its own internal feelings. He's not just emotionally abusive and controlling. he's also a cold-hearted asshole. As we'll see here, Vivian shared this from Grimes' mom. This is from Vivian. Hello, everyone. I'm going to forego my standard tone for this because this is important. As you may or may not know, Grimes is currently in a custody battle with Elon over their 3 children. What you probably don't know is that Elon has been illegally and continuously keeping her children, away from their mother during the most important developmental period in a child's life. From Alejandro Caraballo, Vivian is speaking about how Elon is Vivian is speaking out about how Elon is illegally keeping his children with Grimes away from her and her family. He's off partying in Paris while the kids cannot see their mother or their dying great-grandmother. Again, from Vivian, while Elon has been irresponsibly partying across the ocean in the very country he's spitting contemptuous poison about, Grimes' children are stuck in a house thousands of miles away without their mother. This is potentially irreversibly damaging to a child's psyche and is without question a despicable form of abuse. This is not the first time this has happened, and if nothing changes, likely not the last. I've only been able to catch glimpses of this from behind the scenes, and it has been both horrifying and enraging that no one has been able to do anything about it. I cannot stress this enough. This is illegal. He does not have the custody to be able to do this. Yet, since Elon has an infinite amount of funds to pull from, he has been able to successfully employ them to take their children away from the mother that they desperately require. This needs to end now. X has been paraded around social media solely for the purpose of boosting his own brand image of responsible father, when that could not be further from the truth. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he is both uncaring and absent while robbing their children of a mother. Please do not let this continue. Thank you. Like, what else do you even need to say to that? Like, did anybody, after the years of seeing Elon, after his very bizarre public declines, where he appears more and more unhinged, him doing cringy dances and basically doing like applause moments that nobody applauds for. Like, do you remember when, really quick, here's one. See if I can find it real quick. Elon Musk tells advertisers, "Go fuck yourself." Do you remember how? Look at how he fucking dresses. What a fucking dork. Like, look, what a absolute dork. Yes, Grimes has been very supportive of Vivian as well. If someone's going to try and blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. He singled out Disney CEO Bob Iger, who discussed not wanting Disney to be affiliated with Musk while on stage earlier in the day. Now, if you haven't watched it, I'll watch it real quick. He thought, by the way, bro's body is built like a deep breath. Oh, Maina, or Kiwi TP, that's so good. That's good. He has. He's reinstated 2 accounts that have been associated with posting child porn, by the way. Yeah, for those who don't know, Dom Luker, grifting dipshit, once posted, I'm not going to talk about the name of the video, we've talked about it before. Once posted a screenshot, and by the way, to my knowledge, Dom Luker never got his fucking hard drive checked. Like, Dom Luker never fucking had a knock at the door, which he should have, because Dom Luker posted a screenshot, which, by the way, if you want to talk about how depraved and detached from humanity the average, like, conservative grifter is, Dom Luker posted a screenshot from one of the most heinous torture porns in existence, a piece of actual child abuse materials like, this piece of child abuse was so legendary, and I say legendary as in like a horrible legend, so prolific on the dark web that the FBI, the people who investigate child crimes and sex crimes, didn't think it existed. They thought it was too fucked up to have been real. It was found on who's the church asshole who fucking Matt Walsh defended? The Duggars. Josh Duggar had a copy of it. So it bears the question, how did Dom Luker have it? And why did he think it was okay to share a picture of it on X? And why would Elon reinstate him after that? Many questions. Many questions. Maxie the cat. Yeah, it is. I don't even like... I ended up going down a rabbit hole of that stuff because Dom Luker did that, I think, around the time of the Sound of Freedom video. And so when I was doing research, it took me, I've never seen it. It's dark web shit. You cannot that's the other thing. Dom Luker, you can't access it from like the regular web. That's dark web shit. Like actual dark web shit. Yeah, no, 4chan didn't believe it was real. Like it is unbelievably heinous. I never saw the Dom Luker tweet, so I don't know what it looks like. I have read, when I was reading and doing research on the crime and the criminal behind it, I've unfortunately heard descriptions of it, which I'm not going to repeat. But if you've ever... Now, I don't want to tell anybody to go look into the story behind it or the person who did it. But I will say that if you've ever thought... As a leftist, and I understand the urge as a leftist to think, the death penalty should be abolished. Like, not everybody is bad. Nobody is irredeemable. I don't believe that because of people like the person who did that. There are people on the earth who are so evil and detached from humanity that they do no good by still being alive. Yeah, I believe Peter Scully is his name. Like, Peter Scully... It's... Like, I get like, heated just fucking thinking about that. Like a wood chipper, feet first would be too good. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. In Minecraft. The problem is, and the reason that I say that, it's not just the severity, the heinousness of the crimes, the torture that he inflicted on others. It is the fact that if you look up the way he treated his trial and arrest, he has no remorse. He gleefully revels in what other people think about him. But anyway, that's the kind of dark shit that Elon Musk is okay with unbanning after it's shared. FBI, I saw you get added to the chat earlier, FBI. Hot tip, go check Dom Luker's hard drive. Oh, fuck, man. But I wanted to go back to the cringy shit real quick.
That, and you're clarifying this now, but there's a public perception that that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope
Don't advertise.
you don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
But
Go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
well,
Like, you can just tell that like, this is one of the, when I see people on Twitter being like, oh, bro thought he did something, this is the exact fucking thing. Like, it is Ket. Like, it seems like a K-hole. It is just like, it has the exact same, for me, it reminds me of people I've seen on Coke, where it's just like this false sense of confidence that is driven, like, everybody around them is laughing at them, but they think they're laughing with them. And it's just, man. Really quick, let me get to some super chats. Lady Addis, thank you very much for $5. Why do you think eugenics persists despite evidence against it? I think it's hubris. Like, I think largely it persists by people wanting to believe. Like, okay, so it's two reasons, right? There's a top-down and a bottom-up. And I think top-down, it's because of the hubris of people like Elon Musk, like that Pennsylvania couple, where they believe they are God's gift to humanity and they want to continue that and they have a responsibility to do so and blah, blah, blah. And then the other half is, we've talked about like the kind of Nazi incel side of eugenics before, where a lot of people, they need reasons to just hate other people. As usually, and this is what I'm talking about, this is something that is going to come up in the Synthetic Man video. They usually just develop these racist theories, or more accurately, latch on to pre-existing racist theories, because they need somebody else to blame for their own problems. Like, they need somebody else to blame for the fact that, like, they, whatever, even if it's not a real problem, like, it's not always necessarily, oh, the person of the other race is stealing my job. Sometimes it's just like, there's a black woman on TV, grr. And it has to be, you know, their demographics at work and whatnot. It's all like bullshit, but it gets down to the same bullshit. Yenzo628, Peter Scully trafficking his Malaysian girlfriend while he was still living in Australia. Also, I heard he had 3 kids and a wife. I'm hoping Peter Scully didn't do anything horrific to his own family. He probably did. He like a truly, like, yeah. Nate, thank you for tipping $10. Somebody else did a super chat. Where was it? Oh, Elizabeth Calvert, thank you very much for $5. Just found your channel. You are awesome. Thank you. I try. Faith Faulkner, thank you. Oh, thank you, Faith. I hope the Kickstarter and everything is going well. Thank you for $10. It's all just a rehash of social Darwinism hiding behind poorly constructed pseudoscientific language to justify racism, sexism, and homotransphobia. Yeah, exactly. Like so much of it, and it's perfectly fitting that he's on Jordan Peterson's podcast, where they can just talk about, like, basically philosophical and scientific concepts that they have never done any deep reading into, but that they've heard of, you know. And so Elon Musk can use the word Jungian, and Jordan Peterson can go, well, yes, exactly, and that's why it's actually really interesting that you know, you represent more the masculine, the dragon of order, whereas the trans becoming more feminine represents the feminine dragon of chaos. It's very much like the Jungian, like it's just the same bullshit where it's two. I think I did a tweet about it where it's just the dumbest motherfuckers at the party. One is on uppers, Elon. One is on downers, benzos in Jordan's case, and they're just talking like past each other. And every time they're just like, yeah, totally, man. Yeah, absolutely. Hey. Oh my gosh, you know what? We should absolutely make a movie. Like, hey, I can write. Can you write? No, it's okay. I know a guy who can get a producer credit. And the other guy's just like, yeah, absolutely. Have you ever? Wow, your eyes are really pretty. Like, they're just completely not even on the same fucking plane of existence. You know? But they're both just like, exactly, bro. That's what that fucking interview was like. Mr. Oakby, thank you so much for 2,000 biddies. I've done that. We should start a band. Your cell phone has a camera, you know? I know. I know. And Scott McDowell, thank you very much for $5 Enos. All right, so I think that about does it on my tour de Elon. What else do I have? I have some other stuff. Kids with Grimes. Oh, yeah. This... Look, I try not to be, like, misogynistic. Oh, Coke voice, don't worry. Okay. Okay, I get it. I gotcha. By all that is unholy, can you please say this is a crime against humanity in the Kermit Peterson voice? This is a crime against humanity. This... If y'all didn't know... God damn. I try and I hope my face isn't like that washed out when because I mean my face is not, my face has never been that orange, and I don't know why, I think something happens when the sun goes down while I'm streaming where like the light level, because like I'm having, it's doing the blurry thing where it's like low light compensating, but I very clearly have enough light on me, so I don't know, I have to fucking tweak my camera. Oh, this post may violate X's rules against hateful conduct. Interesting. This morning, when I said, after this homophobic word I shouldn't say, said, put faggots back in the closet, I said, put some faggots on your makeup team. And I was immediately limited by X whereas at the time, this was not. And you can tell it was not for a long time because it currently has 12.6 million views after 2 days. 12.6. Watch my newest Censored.tv episode. Put fags back in the closet from Censored.tv. Chat, do we dare? I mean, I've been watching Synthetic Man all day, so I'm not. Nothing's gonna faze me. I do need it's like washing me out a little bit. I don't like how bright it is. DJ, play that shit. What the fuck is Censored.tv? Oh, this is a 5-minute preview. Subscribe to unlock the whole episode. I think fucking not. Make shame. God, she's really quite comfortable with that wordage in a way that I'm not super into. Putting my cigarette. I sent you a piece of art to your Gmail. Did it go through? Let me check really quick. Duke of Bastards. I have like 1,000 tabs open because I literally played Bloomborough, the pre-release, all weekend. Hell yeah! Everybody, thank you very much for letting me know, Vivian. I want to share with you, and I want to thank everybody here who just showed up and showed out for Vivian, who needed help with rent and with bills, and that was the GoFundMe link that I posted earlier in chat. And I'm so happy and proud of you for being able to do that kind of quick mutual aid. And thanks so much to you all. I knew, like, because we have 600 viewers right now. That $5, $10 from every person, not a problem. Got it like that. Thank you so much. And I will probably, I might do it a little bit more in the future. Let me get that. I don't know. I don't think I got. Oh, interesting. Huh. I did not get, as of right now, I did not get a piece of art. Let me see if it's in my trash. No. No, sorry, I did not get it. I did not get it. Well, this isn't even on Rumble. Interestingly enough, this is not on Rumble. Yeah. Quiet Kitsune, no idea who that is, but already tired of her and her shit. That is, like, the Omega Karen vibes just emanating off of this woman. The just absolute Karen. Good night, V Sophia. Yeah, thank you all so much. It makes me, I didn't really get to, because I did thank everybody on stream. Or no, I thanked everybody on stream when I was getting off after 30 hours. And I thanked everybody in the Discord, and I thanked everybody on Twitter, and I've thanked everybody. I think I thanked everybody in Patreon. I believe I did. But I do want to say, for anybody who showed up, and especially because I know Composting, Rosa is probably still in the chat. Rosa, who I, from the Composting podcast, go subscribe to Composting on YouTube. I literally couldn't have done the 30-hour stream without her taking over for me all night and letting me sleep. Yeah, Duke of Bastards, it should be thedeaddomain@gmail.com. Yeah, it should be. Maybe it's just taking a while to get through. But, did you finish unlocking Elon's dumb skull? Unfortunately, yes. I think we got to the bottom, the gooey center. But I think, I want to just thank everybody who showed up for that stream, and who, not just who donated, but stuck it out with me, because yeah, the stream is saved. Yeah. And I'll be doing a stream highlight on Elon, because I need to buy some time before Synthetic Man comes out. So, I want to thank everybody who showed up, who stuck it out with me, because I've talked about my weird, bizarre job where I started up a video game content outlet with my local news NBC affiliate, and starting from nothing back then, I was incredibly demoralized when I tried to do my first charity 24-hour game stream, and I tried to get other streamers, and I tried to have game giveaways and a whole thing. I ended up calling it at hour 18 because literally nobody was watching, and so to wake up, to go to bed with 200 viewers, and to wake up to still 100 people there, and I don't think we ever went under 100. And I think we got up to 3 or 4 at one point. And to all come together like that for mutual aid, and to share as much as everybody did, to share not just the links, but of your own money for people that, the first GoFundMe, I figured we'd probably be able to get funded, right? The first GoFundMe was a member of our community, a mod on my Discord, Vicky, who really needed help with a move, and that was kind of what spawned this. And the second GoFundMe was somebody who had come to me saying, hey, I need this help too. And the third GoFundMe was one I essentially picked at random, and it was the most expensive, and I hope that money will be useful to that person, even though we didn't get it fully funded, and life-changing, I hope. But the amount of compassion shown by people towards, a lot of those donations, I'm sure, were from people that, you all probably don't know Vicky, or don't know, especially the other two people, one of whom I essentially picked out of a hat. That third one could have been anybody, and putting that much faith in another person, and being able to give part of yourself to support them, is the kind of mutual aid that I want to do more of, and the kind I think we need more, period. And so I consider myself so blessed to have everybody here as a member of that community that sees the potential, the possibility for mutual aid the way I do. I'm sorry. Fatally bored. Did I make you cry? I am. I don't mean to get too mushy or anything, but I am. I how do I put this? Because this has been, I've been thinking about the responsibilities a creator has towards their audience, and I've been thinking about it specifically in relation to things like the stuff that's going on with Xander Hall, which I'm not up to date on. I don't know all the facts on that. I haven't watched the Demon Mama videos yet, but things like the Ava Tyson stuff, and the responsibility you have as a creator to, because there is a dividing line, right? There's a dividing line between you and the community you're fostering, even though I hope I put my personality out there, right? Like I have a lot of personality, I like to think, and I still try and there's still a line between me and everybody else. And that's not to say that, oh, I'm better than everybody else. That is to say that I am probably not going to form a lot of I appreciate and I love my mods, and I love interacting and getting to know people in Discord. But just because of the imbalance there, I'm probably never going to form a close relationship. Not intimately, not romantically, but a close friendship, just because there is that parasocial aspect there. And I have to distance myself a little bit from that. But at the same time, I think there's a responsibility for me as a content creator, as somebody that people come to and for God knows whatever reason listen to and trust in things. There's a responsibility that I feel to pass that on to other people, and to use that platform to help people if I can. And it is this. This is all a long-winded way of saying that I had no idea if a 24-hour live stream would work. It so very easily, the amount of hubris on my side to sit down and be like, yeah, I'm going to stream for 24 hours and people are going to pay attention. And they're also going to give thousands of dollars of their own money to people they don't know because I asked them to. The sheer gall it takes to do that is, generally not in my repertoire, but I am proud to say that we did, and I am proud to say that I think that we really helped to change 3 people's lives who needed it for the better. And it is a tough, harsh, and unfair world, and you cannot, unfortunately, as much as I would love to, help everyone. I can't, but we can work together to help the people who need it when we can. And I think even just the fact that, an hour into the stream, I said, hey, there's somebody else who needs help, and they've already surpassed their goal. And that's because of every one of you. That's not because of me. I think that's the most important thing, is that I've been put into this bizarre position as some kind of leader, which not in a grand political sense, but I have a Discord. I have a Discord that is literally it's named after a brand, a quote unquote brand name, a channel name, that I Am Dead Domain. I have a Discord of people who are there for me, which is very weird. And I forgot already where I was going with that. Oh, right. But, it is not, I am not the one who raised that 10 grand. That was everybody who decided to donate. That was everybody who stayed and listened. It is not me who raised that money, because I only donated a couple hundred of my own. It was everybody else who helped. It was, all of the guests, from Jesse to Maybe to Mia and Bugs and Hoots and Katra and God, there were so many guests on there over 24 hours. I can't even remember them all. Yeah, exactly. Composting. All we did was tell jokes and stay up too late. Like I was just sitting there essentially for 30 hours. Well, 20-ish hours, 22 something. Do I know who Bridget Empire is? I know who Brisket Guilty Gear is. Well, dog brought me a bone as a treat. This is not, I do not want this. This is gross. This is for you. Thank you. Thank you, dog. I love you. There you go. She just brought it up and put it in my lap, and she, okay. Oh, she's still, all right. Well, it fell on the ground. Yeah, sorry, I realized that was a big tangent, but I don't know when I'll do it again. I would like, optimistically, I'd like to say like I'll do it next month, but it took a lot out of me. I'm not gonna lie. It took, I don't know why I've internalized it, but when I was a kid, I had no problems, and like, cause everybody does when you're a kid, you stay up all night. I could miss a night of sleep and just keep going the next day. Doesn't fucking matter. But now, it's not so much. It really fucked up. I literally, when I got off, I slept 12 hours straight, which I never do. I am lucky usually to get 5 hours of sleep. Yeah, composting. It took me 2 days to recover. And then I spent the next 3 days basically, because I woke up at like 9 on Friday and I was like, I am not doing any work today. I feel like crap. I'm going to go to the Bloomborough pre-release. And then I did 3 more Bloomborough pre-releases over the next couple days. So I decided to like take a mini vacation where I did nothing but play Wizard Squares. So here's my problem with that, Rosa. I have a bunch, I need to reboot my system before I start up Discord again, because I think it legitimately might crash it. Because I have like 1,000, I think it's all from Discord. I don't know how or why, but when I opened up Task Manager to start, it has like 1,000 instances of background Task Manager going that are putting a lot of strain on things. But I would love, we'll for sure do something again, for sure. All right, Duke of Bastards, I will check if that art sent really quick, and then we will watch this awful video. Or at least 5 minutes of it. Oh, Andrew Morton, there we go. Oh my God, that's so cool. Holy shit. Fuck, that's so cool. Holy shit. Oh my God, that's so fucking rad. Oh, I fucking love that. All right, I'm gonna show it on stream real quick, but I'll post this on Twitter and Insta for sure. That is so fucking cool. Thank you. Holy shit. Do you mind if I make that my new YouTube profile? That is so, I love that. I love that. Yeah, everybody go check that out. And Andrew Morton, email me again with some links to your work, or to like your social media accounts, so I can properly credit you when I share it on Twitter and Instagram. Just email me those your usernames. But thank you so much. I actually have a I'm like, my first thought is that's going in the fan art folder, because I have a folder of fan art for people that people have sent me. I keep it all in one place. All right, let's add to album. Do fan art. Just like I have a shoebox full of letters people have sent me, like physical letters and stuff, that I also keep safe. So if you've ever sent me anything, I do keep it. I do not throw them away. Anyway, let's watch this real quick. Thank you so much. Composting, someone's making the first fan art of us that we've ever gotten. Well, and you have a really great artist friend too. Do I have a P.O. box? I do not. I need to get one. Yeah, I need to get one because I don't have a P.O. box, but I do have a secondary address that I don't live at that I have I have people send stuff to. SPE777, someone's trying to tell me I'm in the wrong for shaming people who interact with Asmon in a positive light because, quote, they're trying to make money as content creators. I mean, in what way? That is such a weird, Yeah, no, Kenny Pence has done some of my like favorite like I love I still go back and laugh at the stream one, the cloud streaming one. I love that one so fucking much. You don't know how much I love that one. Yeah, thank you so much, Duke of Bastards. All right, let's watch this real quick, everybody. Oh wait, SPE777. An example, Aslan watched one of his this content creator's videos. Now the content is creator. Yeah, it's okay. Keep watching. I'll even react to your reacts. Oh yeah, that's like, I get that. Like that's the fucking content game. But like for example, I've already thought about this, right? Because Synthetic Man knows I'm making a video about him, but I'm not making a video about him. Like he is the subject of the video. I'm making a video about a wider issue with people like him, right? So when he inevitably, and I'm sure he will watch the video, and I don't know if he'll respond. I don't think he will. I think he doesn't like confrontation. Like he don't have that dog in him, right? But I would not do, when I do a video, generally speaking, whether it's a stream highlight, that's why I do like a bunch of research and have videos that I pull out for stream highlights. It's so that topic, I don't have to do another video. Like unless there's a new development in something, I don't have to do a follow-up. Like I kind of want, it's why I put so much fucking work into things like the anti-Semitism video, is that I want that to be my final word on that particular topic. Same with the Matt Walsh video. I've done a couple things, a couple stream highlights of what Matt Walsh has covered, but you're not going to see me doing a lot of Matt Walsh videos because I did 2 of them, and they were kind of one big long video. But like that's it, right? If somebody the size of Matt Walsh reacted to my content, I might do a reaction to that reaction, just because I think that would be fun. That would be interesting to do. However, if another YouTuber or a Synthetic Man, for example, did a reaction, I think it kind of stops there, because that is a point at which I personally, even though it might get some views, I might stream it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that though. Like there's just, I have better things to do, right? You solved anti-Semitism. I hope so. Misanthropic, Synthetic Man, more like eeny weeny teeny weeny shriveled little short dick man. You're not wrong, probably. And Juliana, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to the Duke of Bastards. Thank you so much. But you're not reacting in a way where you have a positive reaction relationship with the person who's clearly negative. Yeah, that is also true. That is also true. Yeah, I don't know. Like there's going back to the Xander Hall stuff, which again, I am not super versed in. I haven't done all the research, but there's just such a like, because I used to watch some of Xan's stuff like years and years ago. Not a lot. I was never super into him or Vosh. I've talked about this before. But probably about, say, a year or 2 ago, there was this fucking ping-ponging where, because I'm subscribed to, like, you know, every major leftist YouTuber, right? Like, I'm subscribed to Vosh, I'm subscribed to... I'm subbed to Vosh, I'm subbed to Keffels, I'm subbed to Xan and Demon Mama and everybody else. And it's not because I, like, watch them a lot, it's just because it's, you know, they're in the space, right? And I would just see the like covers, the thumbnails from the videos they were doing, and it was just like drama, just back and forth fucking drama. Like they're all fucking like Keemstar or some shit. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? And I think, honestly, that's when I started paying attention to Xander Hall's views kind of starting to dry up. Or that was the thing that actually put me off watching, because I would watch his takes on stuff every now and again. This was like 2 or 3 years ago, I think, a year or two ago. I don't remember. And I kind of stopped watching because I was just like, man, like it's yeah, I think like the when you do stuff like that, it does become a drama farm. Like, you know, I had a little, and I've talked about it publicly, and Clara and I squashed it, even though I have other issues with her. But like, I had a public little spat with Keffels. The first thing I did was not run to make a video about it. We ended up talking about it like adults. It's hard to watch at the 12-minute mark. That's fair. Thing I've noticed with BreadTube and through FD Signifier is that it can be very cannibalistic, where there's a group of BreadTubers that are in their own cliques. Yeah, well, and so there's this, like, and I guess I'm in the video essayist clique, you know, because there is this, like, I noticed it from Vosh too, this idea of, and I shouldn't say it's from Vosh. I've noticed it sometimes in his community, in like community tabs or just conversations on like Reddit or whatever, where his community will kind of divide content creators into streamers versus video essayists. And that is such a bizarre line for me as somebody who does both fairly often. Like when I'm not streaming, I'm working on video essays and deep in-depth content. I know a lot of other people, like I guess there's kind of not a lot of other people who do that, like do both. Yeah, I can't really think of any, like, So I guess that makes me the weird one. Like I'm like a weird content creator daywalker, you know? But that also puts me in a weird position. I'm just like, I don't know, man. Why the fuck can't we be friends? Like, I don't get it. I don't like, we all want mostly the same shit. And there are respectability politics issues I do disagree with. Like Zan and Vosh and Keffels and their stance on like saying the R slur. And it's like, but at the end of the day, like, I think that's just stupid. And I don't think any of it's worth making necessarily a video over. Like, I think I can just give my opinion and just be like, I think it's fucking dumb. There's the opinion. And I believe in my chat with Clara, I told her some of the things that she did that I thought are like just straight up. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna be real with you. I think these things are stupid. And I remember exactly the wordage I used. I think it was stupid. And she, you know, credit where credit's due. I think she's taken a lot of her criticism in stride, and I think she's been far more than Zan, at least. I think she has been trying to introspect a little bit more on where she went wrong. And again, as a leftist, that's what you should want. And that I don't say that to mean like, oh yes, we should welcome anybody back with open arms if they just, you know, acquiesce. But like, there also has to be a line where you sit down and realize like, okay, is this person actually trying to put in the work? And maybe, you know, meet them not halfway, but meet them a little bit more. Brutus Magnuson, thank you for $4.99. We can't schism too much. Francisco Franco took over Spain because the left kept eating each other over there. Yeah. I'm a big proponent, I've talked about it before, of just like the way, and you see it all the time in like Tumblr spaces and like the slightly more radical like feminist or trans, use the trans feminists I got in beef with a couple weeks ago, where it's like we should all be on the same side here. Like, this is not worth all of this quote-unquote infighting over minor things for you to be blowing it out of proportion when there are actually people out there who want to see you and me dead. Pet Dogma, I will never forgive Keffels for being anti-black and doxing 2 trans women. I'm not saying to forgive her. I didn't say to forgive her. Mephistopheles, honestly, the Mutahar thumbnail kind of shocked me out of my charitability towards her. Yeah, I don't know anything about Mutahar except for that. And like, fuck that dude. Like the fuck that dude, and then also fuck playing dumb on that shit. Being like, oh, I don't know how it's transphobic. Tell me how it's transphobic. Idiot. Dipshit. Dumbass. Oh, okay, Pet Dogma. Yeah, I know. I gotcha. Maximus the dude, for me as a watcher, I try to stay away from people who I think are acting problematic, but as a creator, I totally understand why you wouldn't want to have drama. Yeah, and I think I've done a pretty good job of not doing drama. I've been trying to not let this synthetic man thing devolve into drama. Because like I said, when I drop this video, I'll watch his streams just like I did with the hate church. Like I want to know their reaction. I'm sure because I've studied him already for so long, and he's not like, he doesn't have a lot of like emotional range or depth to him. I know how Synthetic Man's gonna react, or he's either gonna try to play it off cool on stream, or he's just gonna like freak out and call me tranny and subhuman, and what are his other ones that he likes? Subhuman, garbage, I should go Minecraft myself. I'm expecting all that shit. It's, you know, it's whatever. Like that stuff I'm all expecting, but like when I'm done, Synthetic Man is not going into my brain again. Like I have no reason to pay attention to him again. Oh yeah, Mephistopheles. That whole sphere was chomping at the bit for a reason to go after Ava Tyson too. Granted, what she did was weird and gross, but I couldn't help noticing how frenzied they were to cut videos about it because it fit their narrative. Yeah, I mean, like, oh god, just the fucking snake pit of drama YouTube. Yeah, that is what I never... Thankfully, I have so many ideas for like video essays and content, and like I said, I'm not going to get dragged down by fucking Synthetic Man of all things into being a drama tuber. No thank you. But like I would be hit with a deep depression if I ever felt myself like sliding in that direction, because it is such a bleak existence. It seems like just like cannibalizing anybody for content, just turning people's trauma into content. It's like nobody who, and you can tell because of how their audiences acted, nobody who heard about the Chris Tyson, Ava Tyson situation gave a fuck about the victims. Like, nobody gave a fuck. The first thought that was in their head, people like Keemstar, people like Nicholas DeOrio, the first thought in their head was, how fast can I get this video out? How can I make a catchy thumbnail? What words can I put in the thumbnail that will make people think Ava's a pedophile without getting it demonetized? And how many views can I get off of this? No, I know. No, composting, I know. I'm aware of the yeah, I'm aware of the harassment that that Ava had. So for those who don't know, Ava basically, how do you even put this? Grooming isn't the right word, because I think grooming comes with it a connotation of like youth versus age. But functionally, Ava took advantage of a newly out, allegedly, according to this person, took advantage of a newly out trans girl, and used her and manipulated and lied to her. And that is unconscionable, and it fucking sucks that I have to Like, it fucking sucks that you have to say that and think that. But at the same time, like, I stand by everything I just said. Like, do you think Nicholas DeOrio gives a flying fuck about a victim? A trans victim? No. He wants to see a bottom line off of this. And it is deeply disappointing. Like, it's why I say, I think I've talked about it before, but like, I don't trust anybody. And that's not to say that like there are people I trust at a basic level. People who I would be fucking devastated. Like, I would be heartbroken, but none of them are celebrities. None of them are people I look up to. They're people I consider colleagues, coworkers, you know? Like, and I do not think anything like this happened. And I want to be clear about that. But if anything came out about like people who I've collaborated with or people who I've met in person, hung out with, and invited on streams and stuff, I would be fucking devastated. Because I try to... Would you trust me to water your plants? Yes, because I don't have any real plants. I have a number of plants. They're all fake. Because here's the real secret. I'm like that meme where I got the gun to the back of my own head. It's like, you can't trust nobody, not even yourself. I don't trust me to water my plants. Yeah, exactly. Pet dogma. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Handweller, what's the Finster stuff? Are you talking about the stuff with Jean Hollywood? Ella, Jean, Jean, however they say it. Because that stuff is also very disappointing. Also super fucking disappointing. Yeah, like I need I don't know. There's this contingent of trans girls, trans femmes who like, they spent way too much fucking time on the internet, and I think it poisoned their brains. Like, I know it poisoned their brains. And yeah, it's just it's a fucking bummer. It's why I say don't have heroes. And that's not to say like, oh, you shouldn't look up to anybody, but like, all my heroes are dead. Pet Dogma, I cut off Finster after they collabed with Belle Delphine. Good policy. Good policy, honestly. Hello, dog. Hello. Dog wants to say hello. 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 What? I love you. I already fed you and walked you. Am I not paying enough attention to you? Her little tail's just going swoosh, 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 swoosh. You're too swag. Brain rot, woo! Yeah, I don't know. The Jean Hollywoods. All right, let me. Fuck it. I'll look it up really quick. Believe Ava was in on it too. Oh, Finster made a video. Belle Brady has been Finn, Mr. Beast, and Ava are all in a weird friend group, including known and outed pedophile Jean Hollywood. Let's... All right. All right, so yeah, Belle Delphine is a pedophile baiter for sure. She has depicted as porn, like, she has made photo sets that basically depict her being kidnapped and sexually assaulted, where she is dressed up and looks like a child. Like, she's just disgusting. She has collabed with Shadman, who is an actual pedophile. Like, she's fucking so gross. Yeah, so, like, as valid, people taking L's was a piece of shit. Rest in fucking shit, you asswipe. But, that's probably gone now. Lady, you are fine. I'm looking right at you. You're fine. Hey. What? Oh, yeah, you're just so kissy. What? No, really, who's John Hollywood? John Hollywood is a, hey, okay, you need to stop. You need to stop, honey. Is a non-binary porn star. Formerly known as Ella Hollywood. Hello. Ah! You are being a sneaky little butthead. Stop it. Kitchen. No. Kitchen. Good girl. Is it good girl? Stay here for a little bit. Okay. Yeah, John Hollywood. Unfortunately, here's the it's not the real problem, but one of the many problems. Yeah, now weird internet gooner is a good way to describe John. Like, they play up the fucking femboy like angle. They've done, and like, here's the thing, in porn they've done big collabs too. Like, they've collaborated with like Angela White. I think that was one of the first ones when they detransitioned. Well, I don't think anybody with a little bit of power is shitty. I think some of it in Ava's case comes from repression, and I don't know. I don't want to speak too much on that. I don't want to speculate on that. It just sucks because I've actually like talked to Ava before, like in passing, very briefly. But we've like, how did I even? I hit her up in DMs, and she actually, I don't want to say anything, because that's not important. Whatever. Yeah, I was like, everybody was rooting for her, and that fucking sucks. Quiet Kitsune, have a good rest of your night. Just when they are famous in the porn industry, yeah. Have I ever played Little Nightmares? I played a bit of the first one, and I don't think I played the second one. All right, sorry. We've been talking about drama and shit for so long. Holy fuck. That's a lot of words for me to just say. I'm not a drama channel, I guess. No, there's a level of professionalism I want to maintain, and I think that necessitates distancing myself from drama, from like not just reporting on it and giving my opinion on it, because I can give you all my opinion on the Ava Tyson stuff, on the Xander Hall, the Keffel shit. I'm not afraid of that, but there is a level of professionalism that I need to maintain as somebody who is a content creator, as somebody who has higher aspirations, as far as somebody who is writing a book and writing a movie script right now, which is me. Like, I cannot allow myself to be mired. I cannot allow myself to be stuck in the loam of drama content bullshit. It was very sweet, actually, though. I did see somebody said I think this is after whatever happened with Xan. Again, I haven't looked into it very much, so I don't know how bad it is. But whatever happened recently with Xan, somebody posted on Twitter, are there any good leftist content streamers left? And I saw like 3 or 4 people mention me, which is fucking bonkers. Bonkers to me. Anyway. Thank you so much, Duke of Bastards. Sent my social. Check out my comic adaptation of SA2 in the style of Junji Ito I'm working on. You motherfucker. How dare you drop that on me? That sounds so cool. Holy shit. Mr. Umiyagi, I know you like kaiju. Are you familiar with Gamera? Mr. Umiyagi, you stay right there. Don't fucking move. Don't move. Do I like Gamera? Here's my little guy right here. My little, it's just a movie monster series. I still have the tag is actually in really great condition. I think this is a 2001. Or no, not 2001. It wouldn't have been 2020. Okay, yeah, that's definitely not 2001. And I have some other Gameras, but they're in a box right now. And then I have this, the Gamera the Great fanzine, which was a limited run collection of a fanzine dedicated to the friend of all children. And yeah, first printing 2021. And this was a massive labor of love that had, like, I believe, like, even art by, if you're in the kaiju community, here, let me go to, nope, wrong one. Nope. Where is, there it goes, fuck. Okay, I'm just going to show this off real quick. Oh, Mercurio Loco, congrats on Metroplex. It includes, gotta take that down. Got that. It features art and comics by Matt Frank, who, if you're in the kaiju kind of online community, you know that he is like a big deal. And this actually went to, all of the proceeds for this went to reptile rescue foundations. And, like, God, the level of talent on display here, like, just these amazing full color art prints. Yeah, this is the first time I'd been a part, like, God, just the amazing artwork here. So goddamn good. Oh, yeah, I love that one. And if I can find mine, because I was lucky enough to, oh, they have a Daimajin story crossover, which was another classic. There's some toy photography, just a really great, man. And then I had a story also. It's called Gamera the Great. I don't know where it is available now. I don't know where it is available. But I wrote an entirely original Gamera story, and this is essentially what if I made a kaiju movie. This is what it would be. And I was thinking one day about reading it on stream. Where can you buy these from? I don't know where. Yeah, it's pretty long too. Yeah. Yeah, I really like this one. I put it over on the same shelf with my the first magazine articles I had published from Scream magazine. I never got my third issue actually. I wrote a big ol' expose. I wrote a big ol' deconstruction of Dead Space, and it was published. I just never got the issue that it was published in. But I did a read it. Camera. Bum 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 bum. Da 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 camera. I mean, should I do a? Should I do a reading? No. I'll leave that for another stream. Or maybe I should. Huh. I could, I suppose. Save it for my next mutual. I mean, I could always read it again. I suppose. Sorry, I have to say goodnight to all my partners. I will not put on voices for the characters because all the characters are Japanese. So, no. Oxpecker and Necromorphs are just an extinction level event. Yeah. As a white, do the cheesy voice lines from the English dubs. What do you prefer, F slurs or kaiju story time? Okay, all right. Let me go to the bathroom real quick, and I will read the story. My little kaiju story. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody. All right, let's go. Yeah, let me change the thumbnail a little bit. Actually, let's put on some. You know what? Actually, let's go look. Yeah, sure. That's enough of a word. I need some real. Yeah, now we're talking. I'm just gonna silence it so we have a little bit of background. We got the vapor beats going. There we go. By the way, if you guys haven't watched the Up From the Depths reviews, very good. Phenomenal work. All right, so we are going to be reading, I guess, theater mode. Caught in 4K. I can't believe you would do this to me, Banana Brains. What is that one? Okay. Yes, I actually have Godzilla versus Power Rangers. All right. Oh, this is so embarrassing, you guys. Okay. You know what you did, Banana Brains. Calling me out in 4K. All right. Here is... Oh, God, do I do it? Do I read my cringy kaiju story on stream? Okay, fine. Fuckers. I need to get Katra in here to read this for me. Jun Ishizaki shielded his eyes from the massive explosion in front of him. The force from the impact threw the young boy backwards, an involuntary scream reaching out from his throat as his feet left the ground. He felt weightless for only a moment when his back hit against something with a sharp thud that nearly knocked the wind from his chest. He didn't know what had stopped him from flying further through the air to certain harm, but whatever it was big, and it was moving. A massive wall of scaly green enveloped him, the world around him rotating so that he was now on his back. Jun jumped to his knees, keeping his center of gravity low to maintain balance on the platform. Through cracks all around him, he could see he was being lifted high into the air. His grip tightened on the moist, harsh surface around him as he felt a panicked sweat spread across his back. It has to be him, thought Jun, looking up to the sky. It has to be. Jun's thoughts were interrupted by an earth-shaking, screaming roar from the massive beast who had saved him. Gamera, the great turtle, cocked his head so that one eye looked down upon Jun, checking the boy was safe and secure. He let out another high-pitched screech roar as if to ask how the boy was doing. Gamera! Exclaimed Jun, a mix of excitement and fear still clinging to his voice. I'm okay, Gamera, but watch out! Jun pointed out from the turtle's hand to the monster that had attacked the boy. Across an open field sat Gyaos, Gamera's bird-like arch-nemesis. The flying kaiju let out a blood-curdling scream that caught Gamera's attention. In response, the turtle let out a low growl that Jun felt vibrate across the beast's skin. Gamera had been gravely injured in his last fight against Gyaos, but seeing him fully healed now, Jun knew in his heart that he would be victorious in this fight. You can do it, Gamera. You can beat Gyaos. By the way, this is intentionally very cheesy. This is very original 60s Gamera coded. Just then, June heard another familiar roar. Looking out over the horizon, he saw another large figure emerge from the forest next to Gyaos. Crouched down on 4 legs was Yeager, a Gamera's horned foe. "Oh no!" cried June. Before he was finished exclaiming, another kaiju emerged from behind Yeager, Giran, the knife-headed alien. And when Giran had finally come to a stop next to Gyaos, Virus, the tentacled abomination, peeked up over the horizon. 4 villains against 1 heroic kaiju. June felt a sinking feeling in his stomach. If Gamera nearly lost to Gyaos last time, how could he possibly win against 4 of his worst enemies? He thought. Looking up to the monster, he could feel Gamera's hesitation. The turtle let out a slight snort at the sight of his enemies. June quickly dispelled such negative thoughts. Gamera needed him to be strong. "Gamera," yelled June, his voice faintly reaching the monster's ears. "You can do this. Believe you can get through this. This is not the end." As he said the words to Gamera, he could feel the creature's resolve strengthen. The towering turtle's skin grew hot as he gently knelt to let June down to the ground. The boy jumped off and hastily ran to a nearby wooded area. Turning to face his enemies, Gamera stomped firmly into the ground, standing tall and unleashing a deafening roar that caused June to cover his ears. This wasn't the creature being gentle anymore. This was a challenge. All at once, Gamera's enemies descended upon him, threatening to defeat the great monster once and for all. And Scene 1. Okay, that's one scene. Then we're having a time skip. Jun Ishizaki rubbed his eyes. He had forgotten to take off his glasses first so that he wouldn't smudge the glass. Blinking a few times in confusion, he sighed and took his glasses off to clean them. More work, he thought. Always more work. He wondered to himself how many times his wife Sayuri had reminded him to take off his glasses first so he wouldn't smudge them. He smiled to himself. June was lucky to have married such a caring person. His smile turned to a yawn as he tried to regain focus on the paperwork in front of him. He knew it was getting late, and that he would be dead tired at work tomorrow already. No matter how he tried to focus, the words and numbers on the page refused to make sense anymore, blending together in a sea of nonsense. If he tried any harder to make sense of it, he felt like he would drown. Were he well rested, he could make short work of these work reports, but the workday had taken its toll as it always did. In the morning, then, he thought to himself, knowing full well that he wouldn't get them done before he got to the office. I'll definitely get them done first thing in the morning. June yawned and stretched his arms as he swiveled his desk chair to stand up. He heard an uncomfortable pop in his lower back as he stretched. Just like an old man, he thought. He let out a long sigh as he reached behind him, trying to lightly massage the lower back muscles that were sore from sitting in the same position for too long. I'm only 32. Wait, no, 33. It was a stray thought that made him stop for a moment. What happened to 32? He stood up and loosened the tie he had forgotten to take off when he got home. Slowly and quietly, he made his way to the bedroom. The house was mostly dark now, the hallways faintly lit by scattered electronics and several nightlights that illuminated the way to the bathroom from his daughter's room. Passing the den, June stopped to check the clock on the wall to see how late it was. Without his glasses, he could only squint at the time, but through blurred vision, he still got the gist. Too late, he thought to himself. Just as he turned to go into his bedroom, something in the living room caught his eye. On the table in the middle of the den were several small figures. Walking to the table, June sat down. He grabbed at the small, well-worn cardboard box that housed them to collect his daughter Miyuki's new playthings. In the darkness, he could make out the silhouettes of the kaiju movie monster Gamera, who was flanked on all sides by rival monsters Virus, Gyaos, Giran, and one June couldn't quite remember the name of. He thought about scooping them all into the box and being done with it, but something about the figures made him stop for a moment. When June had found the figures earlier that day, the family was going through a storage unit. He had completely forgotten about the toys, which had been packed with the rest of his childhood and college belongings during one move or another. A flood of memories came pouring back to June of playing with them in his youth, envisioning himself as the star of one of those silly monster movies. He loved Godzilla and Ultra too, but as a kid, Gamera meant so much more. In the movies, Gamera would always protect and care for children, defending them from evil giant monsters that wanted to hurt them. His weary thoughts drifted to his childhood, remembering seeing every Gamera movie he could in theaters. June picked up the little turtle figure and held it up, inspecting it as well as he could in the dark. The small form felt familiar in hands that used to make it seem so much larger. He remembered playing silly childhood games with his friends, running around the neighborhood yelling about how they had actually seen Gamera. Silly children, annoying and confusing the adults around them. He wondered how long Miyuki had been playing with the toys. When they found the box, June figured his daughter would play with them for a while and be done with them. He had tried to remember his day. After work, they tidied up the storage unit, came home, and had dinner, and he left the table early to finish work. Work that still isn't finished, he thought. June sighed again, scooping the figures into their cardboard home in a single motion. He didn't have time to think about childish playthings. He needed sleep. How is everybody feeling so far? Am I boring the shit out of everybody yet? Okay. The next day, June awoke with a start, realizing he had forgotten to set an alarm. He rushed through his morning routine, skipping a shower in favor of a clean shirt, deodorant, and a handful of water to slick back his hair. Practically running out the door, he kissed his wife on the cheek as she prepared breakfast, giving her a look that said, "Sorry I can't stay. It looks good, though." In response, his wife glared playfully, an expression that conveyed a relieving mix of understanding and accepting his unspoken apology. It wasn't the first time June had missed a meal she prepared. She knew it wouldn't be the last. He bent down quickly to kiss Miyuki on the forehead, wishing her good luck in school for the day. The child barely acknowledged him as she played with her new Gamera toys at the breakfast table. As June closed the front door behind him, he heard Sayuri chide their daughter. "What have I told you about bringing toys at the table? What have I told you about toys at the table?" June stopped in his tracks, smiling to himself as he recognized the tone of his own mother so long ago telling him to put toys away at the table. With the stray thought to start his workday, June spent most of the time at work, tiredly plugging through his regular tasks, helping to sort data and file paperwork for various departments throughout the office building. Numbers that didn't mean anything to him, names he didn't recognize, all bleeding into each other, giving his mind time to wander. It's okay. I know I'm losing viewers. I don't want to watch the F-Slur video anymore. I'm done. This is going to be the last thing on the stream. It wasn't giving his mind time to wander. It wasn't long before he found himself fixating on those toys he played with as a kid. Recalling his mother's words had stirred so many memories that had been buried deep for so long. He remembered his father taking him to see every Gamera film they could together, taking time off work because he knew how much June loved them. He remembered his mother and father fighting about it, his mother not wanting his father to lose out on any shifts on the docks in the small seaside town June grew up in. It had been so long since June had thought about his mother. He couldn't help but think of the time they spent together before she died. During one visit to the hospital, she apologized for being so mad at his father over little things like their theater visits. He thought back to a cold hospital room, silent except for the two of them. How long ago was it now? Just a few years before Miyuki was born, so it must have been nearly 10 years now. Where had the time gone? June remembered holding his mother's hand as she cried. "I should have let him spend more time with you. Your father loved you so much. I just wanted us to give you the best life we could." June didn't know it when he was growing up, but his family was quite poor. He didn't realize how poor until he went off to college and moved away from the port town he was born in. "I know, Mom," June remembered saying, doing his best to take a reassuring tone as she began to cry. "I thought we would have so much time together. I thought we would be able to make up for that time when you were grown, when you had a family of your own, grandchildren to bring over. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." All June remembered after that was tears and more apologies. Even now, the line about grandchildren churned his stomach. Lung cancer had taken his father a few years before his mother. Given how much they both smoked, it wasn't surprising that his mother was diagnosed soon after. His parents couldn't have been more different to most people. His mother was stern and had a cold exterior, while his father seemed carefree and jolly. Of course, June knew them better than most and knew that they could both be cold and warm to him and each other, in their own ways. But despite their differences, he saw the same habits form when they got close to the end. The one he remembered most was their apologies. "I haven't visited them in years," he thought to himself, attempting to refocus on whatever task was at hand. Time skip. Scene. I say that because I have little time skips throughout, but I can't really read them. So after dinner, June loosened his tie and sat down at his desk, opening his laptop and getting ready to finish whatever work he didn't get to do for the day. All right, let me see how much I have left. God damn, this is long. It's not that long. We're about, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're about halfway through. Okay. Like most night, the world around him seemed to melt away, allowing him to focus clearly for just a few hours before he got too tired. Meanwhile, Miyuki sat in the den, loudly playing with her Gamera toys. In the kitchen, June could hear Sayuri washing the night's dishes. Hours passed. When June finally snapped back to reality with a yawn, he realized the world had moved on without him. Lights throughout the house were dark, his daughter was in bed, and he couldn't remember if his wife kissed him on the cheek as she toiled away, not paying attention to whatever sweet words she may have whispered. In his nightly fashion, he got up, stretched his back, checked the time, and began walking to bed, hoping he would get whatever wasn't finished today in the morning, and knowing he wouldn't. But like the night before, something stopped him on the way to the bedroom. As he walked down the hallway, illuminated by the soft nightlight guiding Miyuki's way to the bathroom, June saw the tiny kaiju figures lined up against the wall. He crouched down to see that they were all facing the same direction, towards the bathroom, as if they were waiting politely to use it. He chuckled to himself at the ingenious and bizarre comedy of his child. Suddenly his shoulders felt heavy as his thoughts about his parents returned. He knew they would have loved to see such strange jokes were they still here. June stood up, his legs popping at the joints, and quietly slipped into bed next to his sleeping wife. From those small figures lined in the hallway sprang forth a waterfall of thoughts that gnawed at June throughout the night. Tossing and turning, he drifted into and out of sleep, sleeping only a few hours, for his mind refused to let him sleep anymore. In a moment of uncharacteristic spontaneity, June slipped out of the bed and went to the den with a few hours until his wife or daughter would wake up. In a half-awake daze, June tried to remember a dream, or perhaps it was a memory. Quietly, he sank into the couch and used a nearby remote to turn on the family's smart TV. He hadn't had much chance to use the fancy gadget since they had bought it, and the TV mostly existed as a distraction for his daughter and a way for his wife to keep up with her soap operas, both things which their previous TV had done perfectly well. June shuffled through the assortment of apps littering the TV's interface. He had never heard of half of them, but wasn't interested in learning right now. He simply navigated to one of the few apps the family used for streaming movies, logged into the family profile, and went straight for the search bar. He still wasn't sure what he was doing out of bed. He could barely tell if he was still sleeping or awake, but between those little figures that had preoccupied him all day and the thoughts of his parents, something was stirring, driving him forward. Fumbling in the pale blue light of the early morning, June typed a few letters into the search bar, waited for the results to load. All at once, a cascade of movie covers littered the screen, all featuring the lovable turtle kaiju Gamera. He scrolled the screen until He scrolled the screen until he found He scrolled the screen until he found the one he had been looking for and clicked, paying no mind to the menial rental fee streaming would accrue. Making sure the volume was turned down and the subtitles turned on, June sank into the couch as Gamera vs. Gyaos began playing. Time skip. Like in $10. Thank you for a creeper. Right now, creeper. Hey there, paisanos! It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Is that pretty good? All right. End scene. Okay, he's on the couch watching Gamera movie. And now we're in another time. Quote, "You know, this is the first Gamera film I saw. It must have been when I was around your age." June looked over to his father, unsure of how to respond. In the dimly lit theater, he could see his father looking gleefully at the screen ahead. The lights from the coming attractions danced across his goofy smile, a smile that June rarely saw. Quote, "Of course, I bet the special effects on the new movie they're making will probably blow this old stuff out of the water. But it's important to remember the classics. It might not look like much, but when I was a kid, I loved these flicks. Saw every one I could in theaters." His father's voice practically trailed off to a whisper as he spoke, as if getting lost in his own memories. June had never seen a kaiju movie before. He had heard of Godzilla, but never Gamera. When his father excitedly showed him the local theater was playing an old Gamera film to celebrate a new movie coming next year, he didn't want to turn down an opportunity to spend time at the movies with his old man. The summer had been unseasonably hot, and the family had no air conditioning to speak of, making the theater a rare oasis for June. It didn't matter if that time was spent watching a goofy old monster film and listening to his dad go on about his own childhood. "How many Gamera movies are there?" asked June, trying to make conversation. "Oh, a whole bunch," his father responded, a hint of dismissiveness in its tone. "But these early ones were the best." June's father reached his arm up over June's head, resting it behind the boy's seat. As the main credits came up, he looked over to his son. The goofy smile had fallen to a look June couldn't quite identify. There was almost something sad about the way his father looked at him in that theater, yet he smiled anyway. "I think you're going to like this," he said, tussling his son's hair. It was a sign of affection June would usually get when his father left for work in the morning. "If you like it, we'll have to go see the new one when it comes out and see how the special effects compare." As the movie played out, June was enraptured. Unbeknownst to his father, it was a movie that would start a childhood obsession, a childhood obsession for June, one that would result in countless doodles of Gamera fighting monsters on the outer margins of his schoolwork, and a common interest to bond with some of the best friends he would have in childhood. But in the moment, June's father simply enjoyed sharing a movie he loved as a kid, one that had allowed him to express and explore his own creativity with his son. Every so often, he would look to June to see his reaction to what was happening on the screen. Every time, June was focused, wide-eyed, on the goofy old monster flick. When the movie was over, June's father bought the boy a collection of Gamera toys being sold in the theater lobby. It was a more expensive purchase than he had planned on making that day, but after seeing how much his son loved playing with them, he reckoned it was worth the cost, and any arguments with his wife the purchase incurred. June awoke to Sayuri kicking his leg gently. He had always been a sound sleeper, and rarely did simply calling out to him rouse him from sleep. His thoughts were hazy. He faintly remembered getting out of bed, driven by a memory of watching Gamera vs. Gyaos with his father as a child? Or maybe it had been a dream. "Did you sleep out here?" asked Sayuri. Behind her, June could see their daughter waddle to the restroom, yawning and rubbing her eyes. "I guess I did," June replied sheepishly. His wife glanced at the TV. The cover art for Gamera vs. Gyaos stared back at June as he realized the whole movie must have played out, credits and all, or switching back to the synopsis page. "Gamera, huh?" There was a hint of playful prodding in her tone. There were worse things to find your husband watching in the dead of the night than old monster movies, but she couldn't pass up an opportunity to chide him for it a bit. "Yeah," June simply nodded, almost embarrassed, "I guess. I don't know, I've just been thinking about those toys Miyu brought home. Made me remember going to see movies as a kid with my dad." Sayuri sat down next to June on the couch. "Take the day off," she said, losing her playful tone. "You're exhausted. You've been staying up too much lately." She had been hinting at him taking time off for weeks now, and for weeks he had ignored the notion, staying up late and working throughout the nights. June immediately waved off the possibility. He had plenty of sick time accrued, but didn't want his workload to suffer. I can't get behind right now." With one hand, Sayuri took June's and gripped it firmly. With her other, she reached out to touch his face, guiding his gaze to meet hers as she gently brushed a layer of unshaven stubble. "My love, what have you been staying up so late doing? Catching up on work?" She delivered the remark like a punchline. June couldn't help but chuckle. She smiled sweetly, giving her husband a look that told June it had been too long since he had seen him smile or laugh. "There will always be more work, June. There is only one of you. You can take a day or two and rest. The work isn't going anywhere." With his free hand, June reached up to hold his wife's hand against his face. He basked in the sensation on her soft skin, cold against his cheek. He knew she was right. June tenderly kissed her hand as he met her eyes, an offering of thanks for helping him see what he had been refusing for so long. The two sat together, their eyes locked in an embrace for several moments before the silence was interrupted by Miyuki, who was proud to proclaim she had just finished brushing her teeth. Sayuri laughed out loud. "But I haven't even made you breakfast yet. Now you'll have to do it again, and your food will taste bad." The pride sank away from the child's face. "Oh," she said, disheartened. Miyuki's reaction elicited another round of laughter from Sayuri and her husband, who stood up from the couch and made their way to the kitchen to start making breakfast. As Miyuki played with her toys in the living room and Sayuri toiled making a meal, June excused himself to his desk to call the office. He informed them that he had fallen quite ill and would need to take a few days off for his health. The person at the front desk who answered the call was expectedly curt, responding with the briefest acknowledgement that June's supervisor would be notified before hanging up. June was tempted to ruminate on the rudeness, but pushed such thoughts aside. He had an opportunity to spend time with his family, and he decided he wasn't going to spend it thinking about work. The breakfast was no feast, but for June, sitting with his wife and daughter to eat a simple morning meal was a special occasion, certainly as rare as any holiday. Over breakfast, he decided to go visit his parents' graves. Seeing an opportunity to spend a rare day with her father, Miyuki volunteered to go along with him. Even after being informed it was an hour-and-a-half drive away, she persisted. As the two got ready to leave, June was struck with an idea and instructed his daughter to bring her new toys along with her. The drive was long, as June had promised, but his daughter had been preoccupied, playing with her toys against the moving landscape outside the car window. Driving towards the small port where June's parents had been buried, the shapes of the monsters caught his eye, silhouetted against the distant cityscape. It almost looked like real monsters were fighting downtown. The cemetery sat high on a hill overlooking the small port. Traffic had caused the drive to linger well past 2 hours, and the sun was high in the sky, yet Miyuki didn't seem to mind. Upon arriving, she hopped out of the backseat and latched June's hand firmly in her own. The midday sun beat down on the pair as they made their way through neat pathways lined with flowers and shrines. Were it another day in the city, June would be cursing at the heat, causing sweat to gather at the nape of his neck, but the grand view provided by the cemetery's elevation, of the bustling port below and shimmering sunlight dancing on the seemingly endless horizon, kept any nagging negativity at bay. It was a beautiful day. Despite his lack of sleep the previous night, he felt refreshed. When June finally found his parents' grave sites, adorned with tall marble markers, he was dismayed to find that they were covered with dead leaves. Paying no mind to the dirty ground, he dropped to his knees and brushed the leaves away. Miyuki joined in, though her efforts were more superficial than helpful. The gesture made June smile anyway. "This is the first time you've been up here, isn't it?" he asked. Miyuki nodded, standing up after brushing a few leaves away. In her hand, June could see her fumbling over the small Gamera figurine he had asked her to bring with her from home. "I'm sorry about that, Miyu. This shouldn't be your first time here." Miyuki avoided his gaze in the way a child does when they're uncomfortable. "Why are you sorry, Dad?" He let out a long sigh. He hadn't really thought about it, just said it. Still, he knew there was some truth behind it. He was sorry, and he dug deep to tell her why. "I haven't paid as much attention to you or your mother as I should." Miyuki's gaze remained fixed on the headstones. June could sense that he had hit upon something his daughter was feeling, but couldn't put into words. Even at a young age, she knew that her own father was missing in her life somehow, despite seeing him every day. In her unwavering stare, June recognized something he had felt a very long time ago. "I'm sorry for that," June said. "It's okay, Dad," responded Miyuki. The response came out reflexively, a politeness ingrained in her by preschooling and her mother, but her faint tone, nearly a whisper, told June everything he needed to know. June didn't know what else to say. As his daughter forgave him, he could feel tears draw at the edges of his eyes, though he wasn't sure why. In an effort to prevent the moment from devolving into melodrama, June quickly changed the subject, drawing his daughter's attention to the Gamera figure she was holding between her fingers. "Do you know anything about Gamera?" "What's that?" asked Miyuki, slightly shaking her head. Her father chuckled. "He's that turtle there. He's a monster from the movies." Miyuki pursed her lips and finally looked at her father. With a gravely serious tone, she responded, "I don't want him to be a monster. I like him as a turtle." June chuckled again, gently taking the figure out of her hand. "Well, he is a turtle. And he's not a bad monster. Gamera is the good guy. He looks out for people. He defends children." Miyuki didn't respond. She simply took in her father's words with slight confusion. June could see that she hadn't even considered something monstrous could also be something good. "You know, my father bought this for me when I was around your age. We went to see an old Gamera movie in theaters, and they were selling these little figures in the lobby. I played with these so much as a kid." June's voice drifted off. He had lost his train of thought in a sea of old memories again. Getting in trouble for bringing toys to school, his mother reprimanding him for not picking up the small figures after accidentally stepping on them, among plenty of others. If it's okay with you, I'd like to leave this toy here, Miyu. To protect Grandma and Grandpa? Miyuki responded without missing a beat. He couldn't help but chuckle again. He marveled at the purity in the child's thought process, a constant equation of simple solutions for what she saw as a simple world. He hoped somewhere her grandparents were getting as much enjoyment out of her worldview as he was. Something like that, he said. Gingerly, he placed the Gamera figurine in between the two grave markers. Nestled in the dirt, it was a sight straight out of his childhood playtime. For a brief moment, he saw the grass around him as a forest, maybe on an alien planet, or maybe a forbidden island where Gamera would meet a terrifying new foe. The temptation of childish creativity tugged at his mind, and he had missed it dearly. June stood up, brushing off the dirt around his knees as best he could. Miyuki reached out to pet Gamera before joining her father. "Thank you, Gamera," she whispered loudly enough for her father to hear. Slowly, the pair made their way back to the car. Looking out at the horizon one more time before descending the hill, June felt a relief wash over him. His stride was relaxed, his back straight. Even if he didn't notice these small changes, he felt them. It had been a good day, the kind of day he would do his best to see more from now on. "Hey, Miyu?" June asked. "Yeah?" "Do you want to watch a movie tonight?" her father asked. She didn't get many chances to watch movies with her mom and dad, and he had the perfect idea for what to watch. "Don't you have to work after dinner, Dad?" Miyuki asked. He paused for a moment before responding, "No, work can wait for tomorrow." End scene. Sorry, I've been reading, so I haven't been reading the chat. Aw, thank you, Anomalous Rocks. Employed, lol. Surprisingly wholesome. Thanks for the free audiobook. The graveyard scene got me crying. Oh, stop it. Y'all are gonna make me get teared up. Yeah, and people wondering where this was. That was my story. I wrote that for the Gamera the Brave fanzine that came out. When did this come out? This is like 3 or 4 years old now. 2021, I think. Yeah, 2021. Yep. And all of the proceeds went to reptile rescue efforts. Yeah. Yeah, thank you 300 people for listening to my my Gamera fan fiction. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I wrote that. That's all me. I wrote that. I thought you said it was a Gamera story, not a touching tale about re-embracing life in middle age. I mean, it is a Gamera story. It's a story about how art and appreciation for it is passed between generations and how it ties, how it can help create those bonds. Yeah, like it's like it is a Gamera story in that, like, Gamera is one of the main characters. He's the story would not happen without Gamera. Thank you everybody, by the way, for listening to me ramble on. I love it so much. It's such a beautiful story. Thank you. That was when I like basically begged them to let me write for it, and I had gotten stuff published before. I wonder if okay, if y'all want to see, let's see if I have another one. see if it's out there somewhere. Yep, there we are. Hell yeah. One of my first things I ever had published. Nope, that's not it. (2018). Is it more? Do I have to go back more? So there was a... I got my first piece of flash fiction December 10th, 2017. All right, let's try and find it. December 11th, December 12th. All right, so it would be the previous page. Oh, there it is. Do we? No, I don't. God damn, 2017. Oh, fuck. I'll... Yeah, Into the White's pretty good. I still like that story quite a bit. Reviewing the sacred text, hardly. Yeah, I'll do... I'll raid. I won't keep everybody. It's only 1,000 words, so it's not. It's like a couple minutes long. But we can save story time for another night. Let's do. I've already gone longer than I thought I would. Are we doing Riverboat Jack? Jack, everybody get in the raid. Cat, you're fine. Trust me, you're fine. Yeah, can you guys hear my cat being a little butthead? Just being... But thank you to everybody. What? Get off of here, stupid. And Gamera, thanks to you as well. And have a good rest of your night.